Doop dooba doo 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 doo. Welcome to the Smeggie Cave. How's everyone doing out there today? I've got a couple people here watching, and got a couple guys here. Well, I have one guy in the room here. So, what's going on, Troy? Or just stay muted. That's fine too.
Sorry. How are you doing, brother?
Same old man, living the dream.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, anyways, we were just talking off air a minute ago, and you were asking me about the 2A rally.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, in case I have talked about it a couple times now, but I'm going to talk about it again. And yeah, I went to the Michigan 2A rally on Saturday. It was in the afternoon. I guess the anti-gun people were there during the day, and then we showed up in the afternoon. I didn't see much crossover. I was hoping to go a little bit early and like go to the anti one just to kind of like ask questions and talk to people or whatever. But yeah, it didn't work out. I mean, I ended up ride sharing with someone else, and just with the schedule and everything, he couldn't go earlier. So that since I was catching a ride, I'm not going to complain too much. I gave him a ride to the last one, so it's like kind of now we've we're taking turns since we live near each other, and why have everyone drive separate out there when we can kind of share gas money and whatnot. So anyways, showed up in the afternoon. Apparently there was one news station there, and I wasn't sure who they were at first, but then I just watched a video from the firearm guy who was also there. I actually ended up hanging out with him quite a lot of the day, and he filmed everything, and he put together a little like highlight video, taking clips of all the different speakers. And so it was in that video I saw a close up of the person interviewing a couple people, and it looks like it was like a local station. I forget what number, maybe channel 5 or something, but it was like WTZ9 or whatever, like whatever. So that's like a local affiliate type thing. So that's cool though. I mean, that I would, now that I know, I'm gonna try and look up and see if I can find the news story about it, see how the news edited it all together. And yeah, so in fact, maybe I'll do that right now. Let's see if I can figure out which one it is.
So it was the anti-gun rally, the big one, basically. It was tied into the one that they did in Washington, D.C.
Well, okay, hang on. The March for Life,
Right.
they popped up all over the place, and that's the anti-gun one.
Right.
This one was a specific pro 2A rally.
Oh, okay.
And I know some of the other places like pro rights people went to the march as like a counter, but this was like our own thing. So, and that's where I'm saying there wasn't a lot of crossover. Like the people from the morning didn't stick around in the afternoon to come fight with us or anything.
Gotcha.
Let's see, Lansing local news is what I'll get in here and figure out. Is this it? WILK News 10?
WILK.
I forget what number it was. That's what I should do. Let me go to the video and then I can see, because then I can type in like the actual thing. But yeah, if you guys don't know the firearm guy, I suggest checking him out. He's pretty cool dude. And his other videos are like your basic, like, oh, here's a review of the, Ruger blah 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 or whatnot. So oh, hang on, right here, pause. So channel 6, WLNS. All right. Let me do that. WLNS. There we go. So Anyways, I'm just like I said, I'm just gonna try and pull this up and see if I can. Hundreds march for our lives in Lansing. Okay, so that's the
The anti.
yeah, that's the anti-rights people. It should say hundreds march to take away your rights, but I wonder if maybe they snuck us into like as a side note of that one or something. Let's see. Now that I'm on their website, maybe I can do a search. Let's see, like 2A rally. Let's try that. Do. Local news. Let's see. Hundreds in Lansing to rally against gun violence. You idiot. That's the only result.
Yeah, I'm looking on the site too, trying to find it.
Yeah.
They're only covering the March for Lives. March for Our Lives. I was watching a couple of the speeches those kids gave in DC.
Oh, that hurts your brain, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I hope we're not letting 11 and 12-year-olds start making our laws.
Yeah. So this when I click on that thing, it's like a list of quotes from people. There's no video of this one. And again, this is from the auntie's point of view, but like, you know, gun reform now, my son's life matters. You know, these are some of the signs held, you know, in a sea of people. A sea of people? Come on. I can't imagine there's that many people. But where was the one? There was one down here that said we want to have stricter gun laws, stricter gun control, because that's a start. We know it won't solve it, but we just want something to reassure us that it will be okay. And then another person said, you know, kids are afraid to go to school. They're literally afraid to go to school, and I just hate to see that we're at that point in our history. Here's the problem with that, is that it might be true that kids are afraid to go to school, but are kids afraid to play in the rain because they'll get struck by lightning? Because we're talking like about the same odds, if not less, that something's going to happen in a school. So it's, you know, people are afraid of flying in planes. Well, you know, we've all seen the thing where it's safer to fly in a plane than drive a car type of thing. It's like, it's a misconception of like what the actual problem is. And so yeah, they might be afraid to go to school, but it's because the freaking news does nothing but talk about how, oh, like school shootings are all over the place and blah, and they just plain aren't. It's not true. I mean, the worst I've seen is like there's a school incident a day. You know, there's like 300 and some incidents a year. And then when you actually look into those numbers, there's been stuff with you know, either people like being in the neighborhood near a school, or like a gang related, like, you know, drug shooting in the parking lot or something.
Yeah, after
Or
hours, after the
yeah,
school's been shut down.
exactly. And so the problem is when you talk about, like, when you say the word school shooting, which I don't like calling it shootings. I think that's something that we can do as a group, is not give them that power of calling it that. And just like not calling the bad guy a shooter. I know G-Webs has said before, and I really like the way he says it. G-Web says, wait a minute now. Like, I'm a shooter. I'm not a killer. You know what I mean? Like, and I'd say the same thing about myself. Like, I enjoy shooting as a recreation. And that's not a bad word, but it's been associated with a crime. So I
Yeah,
call them, you know, mass killings, or a school killing or something like that, just to bring, you know, whatever, like to remind everyone what we're talking about here. It has nothing to do with the thing. And that's why I say still one of the worst school killings ever. It was in Bath, Michigan in like the 20s. a dude set the place on fire and locked the door. It was like, I think it was like a one-room schoolhouse, so it just had the front door or whatever. And that was like the worst one in history. I think maybe one of them has been worse now, but at the time and for a long time, it's definitely still in the top 10. And that's again just proven that it's not the tool, it's just it's someone committing a crime.
Right. Yeah. And then they get immortalized by the news media, the news coverage. They're spoken about almost every news broadcast. You can't turn on the news without hearing about them, the people who are doing it, the murderers. So it makes it look sexy for other people who are on the edge, who are friggin' crazy.
I wonder if reading this, I'm breaking the copyright. 'Cause it says, that this material may not be published, broadcast, rewritten, or redistributed. Well, I'm going to call this fair use because I'm commenting upon it and I'm using it for educational purposes. And they're just quoting signs and quotes that they had from people. So whatever. Yeah, I don't see anything about the counter thing. And like I said, I don't even see any video of the first one. So whoever they sent out there to cover the story is maybe they're still editing it and it'll show up on like, Monday night's thing. Like maybe they're saving it for, this weekend. So I'll check. I'll remember this. I'll check back like Monday night because that probably wouldn't be right on like the 5:30 news. Like this is what happened over the weekend. So maybe that we'll have some clips of actual news footage then.
That's true.
State DNR bans open burning in 15 mid-Michigan counties. Oh, man.
Did you hear about the fire in Russia, that humongous mall fire?
I heard someone talk about it, and then they were like, oh, wait, never mind. So I don't know if it was inaccurate information or something.
I doubt it. It's on the Fox News page.
Well, that's I'm telling you what I heard of it was someone mentioning it in like the chat or whatever when we were talking about something else.
Right.
I never got around to looking into it. And then they said something like, oh, never mind. So
says at least 48 dead.
Wow, that's not good.
No.
Do they know what started it yet? Or is that still under investigation?
You think they're going to investigate it in Russia?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
But they're going to want to know if it was faulty wires or if it was, arson or whatever. Like,
The fire started on the top floor, but cause wasn't immediately known. A criminal investigation has begun. Yeah, this just happened, so, I mean, it's pretty recent. Yeah, it looks bad.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about it, so
the 2A
that's
rally.
a bummer. Feel sorry for the people and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, that just popped up, so.
Well, and still, like I said, that's a bummer we didn't have more coverage of that rally. But I said it in, I guess it was in someone else's chat or whatever, but it was, we can sit and complain that the mainstream doesn't cover our stuff and they don't give us the time of day and blah, blah, blah. And that's can be a valid point, but I would suggest instead of like just complaining like, oh, it's not as easy for us as it is for the anti-gunners. Okay, fine. Acknowledge that, but now that you know that that's a thing, we need to be our own media. And that's where like the firearm guy, like I said, he did a really good job getting everybody's speeches and stuff from the thing. And I was worried because it was so windy out that the quality would be kind of bad.
Yeah.
But he did have one of those like fuzzy things on his camera.
Okay, yeah, sock.
Yeah, like the little shaggy dog thing.
Right.
And from the the like highlight reel that he's released already, it it seems to be pretty good audio. So I don't know if that's all he's going to do. Well, then okay, that's all he's going to do. But I hope he goes back and he pulls out like each speaker and like just shows their part of it, makes that its own video. That would be awesome. So I'll definitely keep an eye on that because that's something I'm interested in. And like I said, he's, nice dude. I had met him in November, and then when I saw him again this time, he was like, "Oh, what's up, Smeggie?" So like he remembered me even with my silly name.
Nice. How did you get that name? Or have you told that story plenty of times?
Yeah, trade secret, but it's been my nickname for like since college basically.
Okay.
So,
And Midnight's still going.
yeah. He's stealing all my audience, man. He's got all my regulars over there. I saw they're cheating on me.
Yeah. Well, Bob's in the chat on both sides.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Midnight's got all the girls tonight.
No. 9mm over there.
Yeah, and Vanessa's over there. Like I said, all my regulars, man, they're cheating on me. I didn't see Gunpowder Beauty though. She's normally over here too. So
I saw her for a little bit over there.
oh, good. So she only cheated on me a little bit. Thanks.
Only a little bit. Yeah, she said she had to had to go to bed.
Story of my life, man.
It's funny that all the gun ladies are married to the gun guys or in some way connected to them.
Right. Well, that's one of those things is that I don't know, like I've heard people say that. In fact, I was watching Liberty Doll. Is that her name? I think so.
Okay.
Um but she's like a pro rights person and stuff. She did a couple like, busting anti-gun myths and things. And anyway, so she had something that said like, what I've learned about myself from Facebook or something like that. And basically, she was just like, saying the kind of things that like people will say on Facebook. So she's like, I didn't realize this, but apparently the only reason I like guns is because my, boyfriend or husband or dad like forced me to like them or whatever. That was, like I said, that was like one of the things. And it's like, yeah, that I think that is like a stereotype of like if you're a woman and you happen to like guns, well, it must be because some guy like got you into it. Now they're not necessarily saying that you don't actually like them, but it's like you couldn't possibly have found it by yourself. Like someone had to have shown it to you or like made you get into it, and then it turns out you like it.
Oh, yeah, they don't have a mind of their own.
Yeah, apparently not.
Right.
But I would say at least on the gun channel side, all of the ones, yeah, that I've seen that have joined gun channels, it's at least because like someone, told them about it. But then again, what's weird, it's like that's with like everyone else on gun channels too. Like they only found it because they heard about it from somewhere. So I think it's more just that because we grow by word of mouth, it would make sense that if your significant other is also into shooting, you're going to tell your significant other about it.
Right. I mean, it only seems natural.
Yeah. And when I told my buddies about it and stuff, got them in, but they work so damn much, they're never on. That's the thing. It's like even without them, the people on gun channels from Michigan, we have like a whole crap ton of them, and it's like there's at least 3 people I know in real life that have signed up for it but never really seemed to jump on. So if they ever jumped on, there'd be even more of us.
So how are the gun laws in Michigan? Are they pretty loose?
They're okay.
Oh.
It's every like ranking I've seen you ever see where like, it either mom's demand action or like NRA puts out some type of list like ranking all the different states,
Right.
we're always in the middle. So whether you're looking at it from like a good grade means you have lots of gun laws, or a good gun grade means you have lots of freedom,
Right.
we're always like 25th ish.
Okay.
So basically, all of which I think we should be a little bit higher than that, but that's okay. We have like permitless open carry, which I think is a good thing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't understand states that like they have open carry as long as you have a concealed carry permit. And it's because then that opens up the whole thing of where if you're open carrying, the cop can like stop you and be like, "Hey, show me your concealed carry permit or whatever."
Right.
In Michigan, you don't need a concealed carry permit to open carry, so they have no. There's nothing for them to check if they stop you.
Mm.
You know, and that there's a lot of what is it, Terry versus Ohio or something where, um, like the gun cannot be like the reason for the stop. Like that does just by open carrying a gun does not give a cop probable cause to like hold you for something. Now, if they have probable cause for something else, then okay, like they can stop you and talk to you. But anyway, so we have permitless open carry, uh, shall issue concealed carry. So basically, as long as you don't disqualify, they have to give it to you.
Okay. Yeah, Texas is shall issue.
Yeah, most places are, which is that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. But there are still some that have like whatever some type of requirement. And
Right.
Michigan used to, because I remember when I was a kid, my cousin or not my cousin, my uncle had a concealed carry permit, and that was like unheard of for Wayne County, which is where
Mm.
Detroit is,
Mm.
because like they were one of the ones that it was based on it, you had to go to in front of a county gun board and explain yourself to I don't know however many people, 7, 9 people, whatever, like why you deserve to have one. And so I remember like it was like, oh wow, he actually got one. I mean, it'd be like having a concealed carry permit in New York City.
Oh,
Like it's just kind of unheard of.
right.
But he was a business owner and he said, hey, I'd clean out the register late at night and people can learn my schedule and I could be a target. So they decided that that was a good enough reason like, oh yeah, this person needs self-defense because they carry a bunch of money around. But like if someone else was like, well, because I'm a single mom and I work midnight shift or whatever, or afternoon shift, so I get home late, they probably would say no. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
kind of, I
kind
don't
of
get
messed
why
up.
people who have money's life is more at risk than people who don't. But whatever, we've changed it. We've gotten better since then. I don't remember what year we got shell issue. I know by the time I got my permit, it was shall issue. I'm gonna say like maybe early 2000s,
Okay.
and then like in the 90s, it was May issue.
Right.
Trying to remember, because I think my buddy had to go in front of a board. He got his before me. He's a couple years older. I
Mm.
met him in college, and I think he had to go in front of a gun board when he got his, and he got his like as soon as he turned 21. He was definitely one of the like, you know, he was a good pro rights guy.
Right. A pioneer.
So I mean, that would have been what would that have been 2004 or 5 or something. So, anyways, maybe it's been even newer than I first thought. But yeah, it definitely like 2000 single digits. We ended up having shall issue at some point, like before 2010. But anyways, let's see what else do we have. We're allowed to have any of the NFA items. Obviously, you just have to follow federal law. I'm trying to think of all the positive ones before I start getting negative. I don't know. And then like everything else. I know of one thing that just recently changed was air guns used to be classified as firearms, and now they are not. And that's mostly good for like the transportation stuff because we have a lot of weird laws about transporting long guns they have to be unloaded in a case, like in the trunk. Well, with the, you know, more popularity of like SUVs and stuff, then they kind of changed it to just as long as it's like without a reach from like the driver or whatever, you're okay. So if you have like an SUV and you put it in the far back, this must be a gun channels person, because who else would text me in the middle of the night? Anyways, I'll look at it in a minute. I'm playing a game. But anyway, so we changed that, which is nice because you know what your pain in the ass would be to like get pulled over and you have a BB gun like sitting in the back seat, and it's like, well, you don't have a trigger lock on this or something. Like, yeah, why would I? It's a freaking BB gun. Well, they used to be classified as firearms. So we've changed that. Now to get to the negative, which everyone probably has already heard a million times, but we have a handgun registry.
Yeah.
And that is a pain in the ass.
So what does that entail? You have to register upon buying the handgun, or?
Yeah, so when you buy a handgun, like let's say from a store or whatnot, then they have a little like postcard kind of thing, and they fill it out in triplicate with basically the buyer's information. So like your name, address, I forget if phone number's on there or not, but like at least name and address, and then the seller's information. So the store location, the FFL number, maybe whatever, maybe the name of the employee that's actually doing the transfer. And then they put the like the serial number of the gun and like the make and the model. So but anyway, so they fill out in triplicate because the gun store keeps a copy, you keep a copy as the buyer, and then you turn a copy into the state police. And the state police is in charge of maintaining the like database, maintaining the registry.
And why do you think they have a handgun registry and not long guns or something like that? I mean, sometimes it's kind of loopy how that stuff goes.
I think probably because, I mean, as we know, handguns end up being used in more crime than long guns.
Right.
And they think it will help. I mean, would be interested in seeing how many times has like a gun shown up at a crime or whatever, and they looked it up and they're like, oh, this is registered to John Smith.
Right.
And they go knock on John Smith's house, and he's rolling around in the living room on a pile of money he just stole, and they go, aha, we got you.
Thank you.
How many times that happens? I would be very surprised if it happens ever. Really.
Right.
Oh, good point, Gonzo. I forgot about that. We recently are allowed auto knives. I think that was last October that went into effect.
Okay.
Because they used to ban like switchblades and stuff.
Yeah, I think Texas had a reform on our knife laws a few years back so that we could carry almost anything as far as knives.
Yeah, that's the way the law at least used to read, and maybe they still have this part in there, but it was really funny wording, because it said it is unlawful to carry a knife blade greater than 3 inches for unlawful purposes. So here's the thing. So for one, that does imply, like, if you have a longer than 3-inch blade, but you're carrying it for lawful purposes, that's perfectly fine. A lot of people say, oh, it's illegal to have more than 3-inch. It's like, no. If you're carrying something longer than 3-inch, the cop's like, what's that all about? You're like, well, I trim trees, and this is my thing to trim trees with or whatever. Okay,
right.
Fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's lawful. However, if you also do the reverse, you can carry a knife for unlawful purposes as long as it's less than 3 inches. So if it's a blade 2.5 inches, they're like, what's that for? And you say, it's for, robbing people. Like that would be an unlawful use, but it's less than 3 inches, so it's not illegal to carry.
Wow.
Now, I'm sure there might be something else, so like intent to rob people is a crime, so then you'd get in trouble for that. If that was your answer, if you went around saying, I plan on robbing people, but my knife's too short, they'd get you on something else, but they could not get you on like illegal knife because it's less than 3 inches. I had a guy asking me about my knife. Actually, I had a couple on me, but the one I didn't even really think of. I used to carry like a mini multi-tool, like a little Leatherman.
Right.
And it was maybe about the size of like, I don't know, like maybe like a lighter, but like double thickness or something, but about that tall and like that wide, but just like a little bit thicker. And anyways, I used to carry it like in my back pocket, and then that's what I would clip my wallet chain to. Because I had like a regular wallet that didn't have a way to clip anything onto it, but I liked having the wallet chain.
Right.
So I just put the multi-tool in there like next to my wallet. It actually fit pretty good. And it was good to go. So anyways, I got pulled over. It was late at night. I was, like 22 or whatever. And I guarantee it was because, it's a kid driving after midnight. He must be drunk. Like that's why the cop pulled me over. Because when I did the breathalyzer and passed, he got super pissed. And I didn't even think that he had probable cause to do a breathalyzer because I did the whole, like, stand on one foot and touch your nose and all that crap. And, like, I did all that fine.
Right.
So I don't think he even had a reason. But whatever. Like I said, I passed no problem.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, that's a different part of the story. Part of the thing, though, when he got me out of the car is he said like, hey, do you have any like weapons on you? Now personally, I can't stand calling a knife a weapon.
Right.
And so my answer was, I don't consider it a weapon, but I do have a pocket knife in my front pocket. And I didn't reach for it, and I was like, I know you don't want to make him nervous and stuff. And so he's like, okay. So he took that out. And then he did like a pat down, and he was like, he felt the thing in the back pocket. He's like, oh, what's this? And I go, oh yeah, that's just a multi-tool. So he pulled that out and like unclipped it from the chain. So now like my wallet chain's like dangling in front of me, and he's got this little multi-tool. And he asked me, he goes, why are you carrying so many knives? And at first I was like, what are you talking about? Because that multi-tool has a little freaking half-inch long blade. He's like, why are you carrying two knives? And I'm like, I'm not. I'm carrying one, and I'm carrying a set of pliers. Like, I didn't even think about the other thing. But he asked me, he was basically asking me, like, why do you have even the original one? And I said, well, in case I need to cut something, like open a box or like cut a piece of rope or, just whatever. I'm like, I kind of made a joke because I was hoping to kind of get in good grace with him. I was like, yeah, my friends kind of call me MacGyver because I'm always like ready to fix stuff with paper clips. And he did not laugh, so I guess that's not a good joke. In my brain, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But that was true, though. I mean, that was at a time, I don't know, maybe I didn't have those on me, but I would have been the same age or whatever. But I most of the time, I used to carry a little, like, two-headed screwdriver, just like the little pocket-sized one that's Phillips on one and flathead on the other. Not like different size bits, but just a two-in-one. And I used to carry that, and people would use it and then make fun of me for having it. Like, why? You're such a weirdo. Why the heck do you have a screwdriver in your pocket? And I'd be like, well, why do you need a screwdriver right now? Well, I'm just trying to fix this real quick. I was like, well, there you go. I have it in case I need to fix something real quick. Like, I know you're not going to rebuild your car engine with it, but if you just need to tighten something up for a second, it works okay.
Yeah, I definitely always have a couple knives on me, multi-tool, something, just in case.
Yeah, there you go. Gonzo's got the thing. He reiterated. An individual shall not go armed with a blade no longer than 3 inches in length with unlawful intent.
Mm.
And yeah, I saw the knife that he was carrying in Lansing. It was a freaking machete type thing.
Yeah, the Cold Steel Espada is a nice knife. That thing is huge.
Yeah. He's definitely a weird person. So, ooh, the Espada XL.
That thing's like a sword.
Yeah. I figure, hey, you never know if you need to cut a tree down or something. I guess it's good to be prepared.
Definitely.
He definitely could have cut some trees down with it. But anyways, I don't know how we got on. Oh, I guess because we were talking about just Michigan laws and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think any other gun things. Like I said, we have the registry. That sucks. Our CCW does have a mandatory like 8-hour training class,
Right.
which includes a live fire section, but there's no like specific you have to get a score of 80% or whatever. There's just like I have seen like a guideline that ends up being 50 rounds at different ranges, some slow fire, some rapid fire, some like holding the gun at low ready and then coming up and shooting real quick, like stuff like that. And it's like kind of like a recommended thing, but basically it's up to the instructor's discretion, and they basically just have to sign off that this person is like, proficient with a handgun, like they're capable of handling it safely. You don't have to be an expert marksman or anything like that.
Right. I mean,
when I took my class, I took it with a friend of a friend. I mean, I guess he's kind of my friend. I'll call him like my buddy. Like I knew him. I'd been to his house a handful of times, but I never really like hung out with like just him. He was always like a friend of a friend. Nice guy and whatnot. He just kind of lived far away, about 45 minutes. And anyways, we took the class like in his living room. It was me, my dad, my wife at the time, her friend, and her friend's boyfriend. And the boyfriend was the one who was friends with the teacher. So it's like we were all like a group of friends basically. And so the classroom part of it, we just kind of BSing a little bit. I mean, he did go over a lot of the laws, which I nerd out about, and I pretty much already knew him before the class, but me and him got in some like theoretical, well, what if this happens? And you could interpret the law this way and maybe that way. And like, what's a prosecutor going to do? Because I had heard those stories where prosecutors get a little overzealous. So it's just something to think about. Like they might use some stuff against you that is technically legal, but it like looks bad type of thing. But then for the range part of it, it basically was, a group of friends going to the range together. And we did set out targets out there and we shot at them a bunch. And then it was like, all right, you guys all pass. And then we just went shooting for fun for a little bit more.
That's cool. So it was almost like your own private class, basically.
Right, exactly. I mean, he was, certified with the state to be an instructor. He used to teach the class at a gun store and range, and that had actually closed down during the craziness of 2013 because basically they couldn't keep inventory on the shelf. So, because people were like, yeah, the demand was so high, like you should be ranking in the money. It's like, yeah, but if you only get 5 boxes of ammo a week, you sell it in 10 minutes and then you have nothing else to sell for the rest of the week. Or you get 1 AR on the shelf and yeah, maybe they marked up their price a little bit. Like you sell it for a little bit more than you used to, but you still only sold 1 of them. And that's not as good as selling, 10 of them at normal price, selling 1 of them for $50 more or whatever. So, yeah, they ended up going out of business. And so he still was certified and everything. So he started doing the classes on the side just as, as extra income while he was looking for a job. But yeah, so it was pretty cool. So at least, like I said, that part What range did you go to? Well, I was up. He lived just outside Flint, and we ended up going to a public range out there somewhere. I forget exactly where, but it was an old gravel pit that the county owned, and they made it it was open to the public range, but with like no facilities or whatever. Like you had to be your own safety officer and stuff. So you just pull up. If there's room, then there's room. If not, then you go somewhere else or whatever. But it was kind of nice. It was better than honestly some of the other ranges where you have like NRA rules and they call ceasefire like every 15 minutes on the dot, like whenever. I'm not sure if it was in Lapeer or not. I don't really remember. We all carpooled from my buddy's house, and it wasn't too far of a drive, but I don't remember where we went. It's very well possible it was the pit. I don't really have any idea. I only went there the once. But anyways, yeah, it was pretty cool. But that's part of the reason why we ended up just setting the targets out at like 15 yards or whatever. Maybe we did 10 yards. I'm trying to remember. Something. It was pretty close. It was like 10 or 15 yards. We set the targets out and we just, shot 50 rounds into it different ways. Like I said, going slow, coming up from low ready, doing like a magazine of double taps. So you do like 5 double taps if you load, 10 in there and like stuff like that. And we did that because we don't want to have to call ceasefire for everyone else who's out here just having fun. Because like the prescribed thing, like I said, it's just a guideline. You don't have to follow it, but it's like 3, 5, and 7 yards. And so it's like you do 10 at 3 yards, then you move it out to 5 and do 10 slow fire at, or like you do 10 slow fire at 3 and then 10 rapid fire at 3. Then you move it to 5 and you do 10 slow fire, 10 rap. Then you move it out more and you do 10 slow fire, 10 rapid fire, like 10 one-handed, 10 coming from low ready, like that kind of stuff. Whatever the thing was, you're supposed to do different types of stuff at all 3 different distances, and it ends up adding up to be 50 rounds. But we just put it out. Like I said, it was probably 10 yards. The 15 might be exaggerating. We probably just went with 10 and said, okay, if you can hit it, if we just do all the stuff at 10, like that should be close enough. And I mean, everyone's group was we just had the middle of the silhouette blown out after we put 50 rounds through it, basically.
Right.
I think there was maybe one person who had like 3 or 4 misses out of the whole, like on the white paper out of the whole 50. Like, I don't think anyone even missed the whole silhouette, like at all, and the whole time.
Good.
I know I missed one shot when I was doing like 2 center mass, 1 to the head. The first time I did that, I was like, boom, boom, lifted the gun up, and I didn't even like see my sight when I pulled off squeezed off the 3rd round, and it hit right next to the guy's head. And I was like, oh, maybe I should try aiming. And so the second time I did it, it worked fine. I was just like trying to be as fast as possible. It's like, it's not a race. Like, you're supposed to kind of go rapid, but go as fast as you can get a good hit. The idea is not just be like, boom, boom, lift up, wait a couple seconds, boom. You want to kind of go fast, but I took just half a second to make sure that I saw the silhouette behind the, front sight, and then I put them all in the head. So a 78% hit on the silhouette. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyways, I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to be cocky or nothing, but
especially at 10 yards.
Yeah. But as I said, it was mostly just part of it too. I mean, we were all relaxed and stuff, and that's one of the things. Like, I'm glad we did it, especially for the couple of people that weren't like super gun people. I think they might have gotten like intimidated being in like a class of 50 students and having the instructor staring down your neck and all this, like, all that kind of stuff. So I'm glad that it was a little more relaxed. We're all just kind of hanging out. because I know of people getting timid. I mean, my mom's like that. She had asked me, she had shown interest in like learning how to use a firearm.
Right.
But one of the things that she had told me was that because we have some property up north. I have like my own range up there that I built, and she had told me like yeah, like sometime like up north, like she doesn't want to go to like an indoor range where there's like strangers there and having the extra shots going off and stuff. Like she is legitimately nervous around firearms.
Right.
And that's fine. It is what it is.
Mhm.
And the only way you get comfortable with it is if you do it, if you're around it more, and you get confidence in yourself that you are safe, and then you have trust in other people that they're going to be safe, then you get more comfortable. So until then, like I've learned I super have to ease her into it. Anyways, the whole point of that is one of the things she said was like, I don't want dad to teach me, that type of thing. Like, I guess they had, when they were dating way back in the day, he took her shooting, but he took her like trap shooting or something. And like, she shot the shotgun once and was like, this is loud. It hurt my shoulder. Guns are icky. I'm never touching them again. Like that was it. And they had never, like, they never went shooting together again. So, it is what it is. But anyway, so that was part of the thing. And that's the one time I went out there, I showed her, and she shot a few times. Not even, I don't even think she went through a full magazine, and then was like, okay, like that was kind of fun, but I'm gonna go inside now. It's like, okay, I understand now. I'm not gonna push her at all. I'm gonna encourage and like pester a little bit. Like I kind of joking with her as like especially like we had a weekend planned of going up north. And then like, she texted me at one time during the week and was like, hey, are you like free for lunch? And I said, I'll go to lunch with you if you go shooting with me up north. And so I bribed her like, oh, you like hanging out with me. You haven't talked to me for a while. Okay, I'll hang out with you, but you have to go shooting with me. And anyway, so that was the first time. And like I said, she actually kind of enjoyed it, but was still a little nervous. And then the second time, she only shot a couple rounds. And like my dad he didn't say anything. Give him credit. He didn't say anything, but he was like standing right behind her watching her. And she realized after the fact, because she was like, she's like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
And then she realized like weeks later was like, what are the difference between those two different experiences? The one time my dad was like back by the table, like loading up magazines or something, like just doing his own thing or picking up brass or whatever. The second time he's standing right behind her, staring at her. So yeah, I think in the future, I'm going to go, all right, Dad, like I love shooting with my dad. I mean, we'll go out and spend all afternoon, just the two of us shooting up there.
Yep.
But I think I might tell him, hey, man, go jump on the tractor and go cut the grass or something. Because he loves driving the tractor. So go cut the grass. We'll be in back. And I'll take her out there at that time. And I'm hoping that'll work. And she likes my 22 Magnum, my little PMR 30. She likes it.
It's a revolver, right?
Oh, no. It's a semi-auto.
Oh, okay.
It shoots 22 Magnum and holds 30 rounds.
Wow.
So I'm thinking I might load up a magazine of 30 and say, okay, you can't leave till this magazine's empty.
Oh, the Keltec.
Yeah, the Keltec PMR 30.
Yes, I've been looking at that thing because my kids like shooting.
It is a sweet little gun, man.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a squirt gun. It is so lightweight.
Uh-huh.
And I was worried that might actually like kick a little bit more because it's so lightweight.
Right.
But it doesn't kick that much at all. Oh, there's Gunpowder Beauty. How's it going? You're done cheating on me with Travis? You decided to come over here? That's okay. There are multiple chats. People are allowed to watch whatever they want. Just only kind of hurts my feelings. But yeah, no, that PMR 30 is pretty sweet.
Yeah, good price too.
Well, what are you finding it for? I'm not even sure of what the market is. I bought mine used a
I
little
was
while
just
back.
Yeah, I was just on Keltec site looking. MSRP is 454. I'm sure you can find it for much cheaper or a bit cheaper.
On the the secondary market, it's probably I don't know, a couple $100 maybe. I guess it depends how much wear and tear and whatnot.
Yeah. They look nice. They sort of look like that FN 57 pistol.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. Like the 22 Magnum's almost like a kind of a similar what do you call that? Like, oh God,
Same
why I
kind of
can't think of the word.
ballistics.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, it's a small, fast-moving round. I mean, that's
Right.
kind of the point of it.
I dig 22s.
You know, kind of a bummer. 22 Magnum's about as expensive as 9mm, though.
Yeah.
That's kind of annoying.
That thing, I like that. The Keltec. People hate on Keltecs for some reason.
Well, they're not known for the best consistency in, you know, some of their other handguns, but what I've heard of the PMR 30 is like some of them have kind of had problems, but it's basically like if you have one that works, it's gonna work. So it's like it was, came from the factory, either good to go or not. And like that was about it. But they I forget what it was. They sent out like new barrels or something, like they fixed something. So like the later ones are good to go right off the bat, but I guess they did kind of have problems when it first came out, but they figured it out and they fixed it. And then, like I said, it was one of those, if you have one that works, then you're good to go. And if you don't have one that works, like you're going to know out of the box it doesn't work very well,
Right.
and then you could send it back, get it fixed.
Yeah,
So
that's one thing I've noticed is a lot of the companies, I mean, they have real good warranties and they honor them, which is always nice. I would hate to buy a gun and then they're like, don't worry about it.
yeah, well, and that's like one of the things Ruger's pretty well known for taking care of their customers.
Yes.
And they're not necessarily known for even having like a lot of problems, but
Right.
if you do happen to have a problem, they're pretty well known for getting it fixed up. Uh-oh. Oh, excuse me.
All right. Get off that Keltec site before I buy one.
Oh, you might as well, man. They're
No,
cool.
I want to. My kids love going to the range, so they shoot the guns that we have, but they always like the 22s just a bit more. It's a lot easier for them to shoot.
Yeah. Well, and the 22 mag does kick a little bit more, but like I said, I was surprised with how lightweight and how much like extra power the Magnum has versus the regular. It doesn't kick that bad. Like with me shooting it, I mean the gun doesn't like flip up at all. I think with my mom shooting it, it recoiled a little bit, but like I said, she's really not used to shooting like at all. So that's something that will improve over time.
Yeah, I've been trying to get my mom to come out and shoot with us, but she's staunchly in the position of not going.
Yeah, which I find with people like that, like I said, I try and like, you know, gently encourage and like I said, kind of jokingly bribe. She knows I was just like joking when I'm like, I'll only ever go to lunch with you if you go shooting.
Right.
although I like half meant it, like I was basically joking. So, but I mean, if you push them, then they're just gonna, their mindset will be all messed up because it's like the only reason I'm doing this is because I have to, and I don't even really want to anyways. So anything that they had in their head of like this is scary and this is bad, like they'll still be thinking that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, my mom was in the army. She's definitely shot before. I think now she's been away from guns and rifles for so long. She thinks there's something different nowadays than from when she was in serving.
Hmm.
I don't know. She watches too much Oprah, maybe.
Uh, I guess everyone has their own way of thinking of stuff, so
Yeah.
That's okay.
I can't be mad at her. Gave birth to me.
I mean, you could try and be mad at her if you wanted, but it wouldn't work out very well.
No. I like her too much. So how was the van chat? I didn't get to see that. He's on the road.
Yeah, he's the tour is officially kicked off, so that's pretty cool. And one of the things actually he had Jueb said he'd probably jump in a little bit later tonight. He's gonna go, I don't know, drive around or something, and I don't know where he's headed, whatever.
Right.
Operational security. He's somewhere.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
One of the things though he had mentioned he's got to try and like charge up his batteries a little bit. So that's something I think that he's finding out pretty soon. I know he super likes the second monitor and whatnot, but I think that's killing his battery faster than if he just had the one thing. So there might be some power saving stuff he needs to do to try and conserve energy a little bit more. Especially if he wants to like be doing stuff like all night while he's just hanging out and not have to keep like starting the van up in wherever he's parked and let it run for an hour just idling and then shut it back off and then start it back up again. And so hopefully it kind of gets that. So we did kind of talk about like, okay, now that you're using this setup a little bit, like are there stuff that you would want to change or things that like things that you're glad you changed? And one of the things when he lowered that shelf, and made like a work desk kind of thing.
Right.
He said that's working out really good for him. So that's good.
Yeah, he made that van into like a mobile media
it's a mobile office for sure.
Right. Yeah.
And that was the point of it. And I think that's also one of the things that's using up a little more battery life is that he's spending all day like rendering videos and uploading stuff, and so it's like the computer's doing more work. But I think it's one of those like if he just gets in the habit of like leaving the second monitor off, like even if he's like in a chat or whatever, until he actually like kind of like really needs it for like if you're editing stuff and you have a bunch of windows open and stuff, then yeah, it's helpful. But I've gotten by this entire time like with just my laptop, and it can be done. I get it. It is nice having the second thing, but if you just have it just to have a chat window open or something, you can very easily just minimize one of the things and do a split screen kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that would just come from playing around with it and just kind of being conscious of, even just like, okay, don't just leave the laptop on all the time. Like literally like, okay, shut it down and like do something else for a little bit. And then like when you actually want to use it, turn it on, use it, and then shut it back off. Like, I think those types of habits will help conserve battery life. At least that's how I would do it. I would think of, whatever. My volts are like, they're just like gas in the tank or water in a camper. Like, you only have so much potable water until you can refill. Like, so you just don't waste it. But he has a good point, is that he's not in the middle of the Mojave Desert or whatever. He can always just drive around a little bit and charge it back up.
True.
So, I don't know. It kind of makes me want to do something with my truck, but I don't know. I'm the type of person, I don't know. I could just freaking sleep anywhere anyways.
Yeah, same here. I've definitely spent a night or two in my car.
Although I do like the idea of, they make like blow up mattresses that are like specifically fit to like the bed of the truck, like has a little cutout for where the wheel wells are or the different things. And I mean, mine's just a big box though. Like the wheels well doesn't stick up into the truck, but.
Oh, so you got a big truck.
It's just an F-150.
Oh, okay. Those are nice. I eventually will get a truck.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I had a Dodge Ram for the longest time, and then it just, I don't know, the motor went out on it, and that was done. It was over with.
Yeah, I want to get like and Bob was talking about like putting a cap on it and stuff, and then you having like a little camper type thing. But I don't know. I kind of just want to get like a tonneau cover for it, because right now I really don't. I don't like keep stuff in the back, right? Because it's gonna get all snowy and rained on and all that other stuff.
Right.
And so I'd either want to get like I kind of want to get like a toolbox for it, or get a tonneau cover, because I really like the trifold ones that are, it's a hard cover, and it like just folds up almost like a hot tub cover, right? Like it just folds into 3 pieces. And the way they make them is that when the tailgate's locked, you can't open it, because you have to drop the tailgate down to get to like the lever that opens up that first piece.
Right.
So I like that from security point of view. And if that was the case, then, I might keep some stuff in the back of the truck. Right now I have all my stuff. I keep it like in the cab of the truck, which I have it's a super cab, which means like the suicide doors.
Okay.
The crew cab is like the full 4-door.
Right.
So, I mean, my back seat's a little bit smaller than other stuff.
Is it the jump seat back seats, or is it a bench?
It's a split bench.
Okay.
So it's got 3 seats back there, but like the 2 of them fold up, and there's a little like tray underneath that you can put stuff. It's not very big. I'm trying to think what I have in there. I got a couple of like tie down straps and stuff. Jumper cables, a little air pump that plugs into the cigarette lighter, and like my ice scraper. And the thing's pretty much full. Like, it's not a very big cubby hole.
Yeah. I have a car, so holding anything in there for a significant amount of time, it's just inconvenient.
Yeah, I mean, you got a trunk, though. You could, like, fill up.
Yeah, that's true. But I try to keep less junk in the trunk.
Damn, too much junk in the trunk.
I had too much junk in the trunk at one point. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to clean this thing out.
Yeah. I mean, there's a fine line between like being prepared for everything and then like having too much stuff.
But yeah, exactly.
And that's one of the things
Exactly.
actually there are still some things that I still have in my Jeep I haven't moved over to my truck yet. It's one of those like because I didn't turn my Jeep in when I bought the truck, like it didn't force me to clean it out, so therefore I haven't cleaned it out.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
even the ice scraper, it took me a little bit to be like, oh yeah, I need one of these. So I grabbed that out, and actually that's when I found my gun channels hoodie. I could not find it for a long time. I looked all over the house, and turns out it was in the back seat of the Jeep. So that was good. At least I have my gun channels hoodie back.
How'd you get a gun channels hoodie?
I bought it when they were doing hoodies, which
Makes sense.
I'm trying to. I, I don't know if that thing is still up. I know there's some stuff over on Forge from Freedom, but I don't know if he's got gun channel shirts over there or if it's just like the gear website stuff. Like I know I saw the stripper clip and the Daily Gun Show. And anyways, I don't know if that place has hoodies or not.
Oh, they have that at Forge from Freedom?
Yeah, you can find some links around that will take you to it. And then that ends up helping out G Webs because it's like like his affiliate type thing or whatever.
Right.
Let me see if I can find it. But anyways, yeah, there's like how like I don't know if you've been to Forge from Freedom. There's like you can just search like all their stuff, or you can click on like the Yankee Marshall collection or the Military Arms Channel collection,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's now like a gear websites collection. But
Oh, yeah. Gun website store. Oh, sick. Yeah, they have hoodies.
okay.
Daily
But
Gun
like I
Show
said,
hoodie.
I would suggest though just to um try and at least go to it from like a link you find from GWebs,
Oh, okay.
just so he gets credit for it or whatever.
Oh, okay,
Because I
okay.
mean, it doesn't hurt you any one way or the other, and then that helps him out,
Right.
And I have no idea what kind of deal they have, so I won't speak on that. But
That's
I
the
believe
only.
he does get some type of benefit.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely do that then, because I'm always in the market for a hoodie.
Yeah, I got mine when they were on. Trying to remember which one it was. Cafe. No, Spreadshirt. I think he did some stuff on Spreadshirt.
Okay.
But
G-Webs makes all his own patches. He does all the sewing and everything.
it depends.
Okay.
He does do some prototype ones,
Right.
and but like his machine is not a like a um what would you call it, like a mass production type thing.
Right.
It's designed for just doing like couple like you know well like I said like prototypes or like one of a kind type stuff.
Mm.
So sometimes when he's doing that, he ends up putting out the one of the kind things for like a special whatever, like does I don't know what you'd call it, like a prototype run and
A
puts out a bunch of
limited
things
run.
out
Yeah.
of them.
Right.
Okay, yeah, he's got gun channels, Every Second Matters, Daily Gun Show, Stripper Clip. But that's pretty cool.
Smeggie shirts, man.
Yeah,
The tactical snowman shirts.
yeah. Who knows?
But
Maybe I'll give that idea to G Wubs. Let him put it in his collection.
G-Web's been around for a minute, huh?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But no, I have no interest in branding myself.
Right. Yeah.
Official Smeggie Cave logos or something. I don't know.
It would just be cool to have a shirt out there.
I guess. Although I do feel slightly famous. I got internet stalked and tracked down at the 2A rally, so that makes me
Oh,
famous.
yeah, that does. What happened?
Oh, Gonzo out there in the chat, I've seen him commenting for a while and whatnot, and
Uh-huh.
I posted something about it, and he sent me a message on Instagram, was like, "Hey, you're gonna be at the rally, huh? Like, so am I," or whatever. I was like, "Okay, whatever." Actually, he sent me a thing saying, "Hey, you should speak at the rally," which I've talked about earlier in the day. I'm kicking myself in the ass nowadays that I didn't.
Mm.
When it first started, I didn't really want to. Well, I mean,
Mhm.
I wanted to, but I was like, God, it's so different talking on the internet to like, you know, looking at my computer screen versus looking at a couple hundred people's like faces in real life.
Right.
So I'll admit it. Yeah, I was a little nervous.
Mhm.
I don't I was, don't like speaking sometimes. So, um, I pansied out. And then as the thing went on, I started thinking like, yeah, I can do this. And so I was waiting to kind of like catch like the MC because they did say at the beginning like, hey, if you want to talk, like, see this guy, he'll get you like on the list and he'll invite you up and all that kind of stuff. And so I was getting around to do that, and then they pretty much were like, "All right, well, we're wrapping it up. Thanks for coming out." But I was like, "Damn it!" And then at that point, I didn't want to just like run up to the steps, be like, "Wait, wait for me." I mean, they probably would have let me speak. I'm
Right.
not gonna lie. I mean, everyone was super nice there and all that stuff, but I don't know. I felt out of place at that point, so
Yeah.
I missed my shot, and now I've gone to two of these rallies now, and the first one I really like had no idea what to expect. Now I have a little bit better idea. I feel more comfortable. I know, like, I saw some of the same people this time that I did last time,
Mhm.
so that's like, all right, now we're starting to get like, hey, we're the people that show up to all of these. Like I said, I met up with the firearm guy, and he remembered me right off the bat. Like I just kind of wait. Hey, how's it going, man? He goes, "Hey, Smeggy, how's it going?" I was like, "Oh shit, he remembers me."
That's cool.
So that's like it's like I'm looking up to him, going, "Wow, a celebrity knows me." And then Gonzo comes and tracks me down, going, "Hey, do one of you guys know who Smeggy is?" Because I went with Squib, and he had a gun channels patch on his hat,
Okay.
and I just looked like a regular person. I mean, I was wearing my gun channels hoodie, but I was wearing it like underneath my coat.
Okay.
Because a hoodie by itself would have been a little too cold. And I did have my Dan Wesson repeal the NFA hat. And part of the reason I love that hat is because that's an actual like name brand company that is saying repeal the NFA. And it's freaking Dan Wesson. They make custom 1911s and they're working with CZ now too.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
they have nothing to do with like if Silencer Co. says repeal the NFA, that makes sense that they're trying to boost their business and all that.
Right.
These guys have no skin in the game and they still want to get rid of it. And I love that.
That actually makes me want to get a Dan Wesson now.
I recommend it. I have nothing experience, like no experience with them or any of that. I know of them. I've heard they are very quality guns.
Yeah. They're high end, aren't they? Pretty much.
They're definitely higher end. I mean, they're not as crazy as oh my god, what's that one that's freaking like 10 grand for a 1911?
Ooh.
Like, but I think they're maybe, $1,000 a little bit more for like 1911. They probably have different stuff. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
they are a nicer type.
Phew.
They're custom. They're hand fitted and that kind of stuff.
Definitely. They got some nice stuff.
And I guess you can go like as much or as little with them as you want. Like I said, because it's a custom thing. So you'd be like, well, I just want like a couple of upgrades. Like, okay, that's only this much. Or no, I want like a full whatever. Then it's going to be more.
I'm looking at some of their stuff right now.
Why the hell can't I think? It's probably because I don't really care about 1911s. I mean, they're fine. I just, whatever.
That's one of the next guns I want to get is a 1911, just for the historical purpose.
Yeah. And I mean, they are, 1911s are known for having great triggers and, especially you get a nice, good hand-fitted one. They're good for accuracy and all that stuff. And
yeah.
They're big boy rounds, so you can feel special about yourself because you're shooting 45 like a man.
Yeah, only men carry 45. If it don't begin with a 4, it ain't right. I like my 9mm.
4. It's just 4 minus a couple. 4 minus 0.02. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. Or 40 minus 2. And then converted to metric.
That's too much math, brother.
Maybe I've been hanging out with Vanessa too much. Damn math teachers.
Vanessa Kitty?
Yeah.
Yeah, where is she?
I don't know. She's probably cheating on me too.
Well, Midnight's
Beauty said she was driving. She just got home from work or whatever. So
yeah, I was wrong.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you're still out there, exactly. It was Troy, also known as Michael. Apparently, I don't know. He's weird. Let's have nicknames be regular names. Like at least I'm Smeggie. It's a nickname.
Yeah. I know. It's confusing. I'm confused half the time.
What's my name again? What's my name again?
Always put on the Blink 182.
I know it's supposed to be what's my age again, but
yeah,
I changed it.
I got it.
Where's my Asian friend?
I say that one. Where's my Asian friend? The pants asked, what did he mean?
It was a Friday night. I load my mags to get the feeling right. We started shooting guns and hitting steel targets. And the DNR broke up with me. And that's about the time I locked and loaded. Nobody likes to be defenseless when you're walking down a dark alley. What the hell is CCW? I never want to be unarmed. Never be unarmed. Never be unarmed.
All right, now just commit that to memory and
I don't have to commit it to memory. I'll just go back to this chat and go an hour in or whatever and re-listen to it.
True. The beauty of the internet.
I should try doing that when I'm doing the gun songs. I've always just been writing from scratch, but I should try some parodies.
Dude, you could put out a CD's worth.
Maybe. I like that one. Funds. Where's my gun again? Yeah, I like that. I took her out. It was a Friday night. We got jumped. I wasn't feeling right. Or it was dark. I wasn't feeling right. And then a guy jumped out, demanded my wallet. But I will not be a victim. And that's about the time I pulled out my gun. Nobody robs you when you're fully armed. What the hell's the point of being defenseless? Da 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 da. Where's my gun again? Where's my gun again? And later on the drive home, I phoned the cops from a payphone. I told them I was robbed and I defeated him. The state will give me immunity. And that's about the time I like stand your ground.
Oh my God.
Nobody likes it when you when you fight back. Da, 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 blah, da, 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 da. Or why would you go defenseless? Where's my gun again? Where's my gun again? Yeah, I like that. On the drive home. Yeah, and later on the drive home, I called the cops from a payphone. I told them I was robbed. I shot I shot the bad guy. Guy. The state will give me immunity. Yeah, I go with that one. And that's about the time they congratulated me. They say, "Good job, citizen, for protecting what is yours." The police chief in Detroit likes CCW. That doesn't fit. Whatever.
It's close enough.
It's a true statement.
Oh, does he?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's awesome. Police Chief Craig.
Okay.
He came from someplace else, and he even said like he used to be like, like didn't understand why people would want guns or whatever. And then he like changed his mind when he saw that, people weren't killing each other over parking spots. People were using a gun to defend their lives.
Right.
And one of his first speeches when he came here, because Detroit's always been known for having very poor response time.
Mm.
And he even said, he's like, listen, if something happens, you're the first line of defense. He said, our response times are bad, and I'm going to work on that. But, like you need to protect yourself, and we will get there as soon as possible and back you up. But he basically said, yeah, every law-abiding citizen should go out and, get a gun for self-protection and get a carry permit and be good to go. And I thought that was awesome for a city that has a problem with crime. I mean, we're always, I don't know, in like the top 5 or the top 10 or whatever.
Right.
Depending on what year and what stat you're looking at, like what type of crime and whatnot. But yeah, we're always up there. And we are not anti-gun. That's one of my pet peeves when people say, cities like LA, Chicago, New York, Detroit, they have strict gun laws and they have a lot of crime. It's like out of all of them on the list, we probably have the best gun laws out of those cities. Our crime is not related to like guns in any way, really. It's a complex issue. It can't be solved just one thing.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Sadama Go-Go by Guar. I don't know that one. I mean, I know of Guar. I've heard some of their songs, but I don't know them enough to know what that song is. Yeah, I think I'll do the 12-hour one.
Guar.
I've always wanted to go to a Guar show just for like the pure like mayhem. Like they are just crazy.
You would definitely get mayhem. That is for sure.
Well, yeah, they like spray their audience with like fake blood and stuff, like
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
But from what I hear, like they put on a show.
Yeah, I've never been to a Guar concert.
It's kind of like Alice Cooper, man. I kind of kicked myself. I had a chance to go to an Alice Cooper concert and I didn't. Yeah. I was out of town for work and I went with my boss, but we drove separate because there was a couple different towns in Indiana that we were going to, and he had left and went to like the other place, and I had to stay behind and go into work like in the morning and basically do startup for whatever most of the day and then drive to the other town so I could meet him like the following day because we had stuff to do at this other plant. And so I was staying in Fort Wayne, like right
Indiana?
downtown. Yeah, there's a hotel. It's like right next to there's a baseball field. They have a minor league team there.
Mm-hmm.
and this hotel's like right next to the baseball field, and then there's like a whatever, like a concert thing like right across the street.
Mm.
And the hotel has a restaurant like in the lobby, an actual like really good restaurant. So I was down there eating dinner, and like all these people came in and were like just up at the bar, like grabbing a drink or whatever. And then like they all started cashing out like at the exact same time. You know what I mean? You know, when you've seen that before, like when people are there for a certain thing and then like they all start leaving. So I asked someone, because I was just sitting up at the bar eating dinner,
Mm.
and I was like, what's going on? Like obviously these people are doing something. Like what's up? And they're like, oh yeah, there's a Alice Cooper's across the street.
Oh,
And I'm sure I could have found tickets somewhere. But I thought about it. I thought about going, especially just because he puts on such a good show from what I hear. But I'm also sitting there going, well, I have to be at work at 5:30 in the morning. Like I had to get there before production started to make sure everything started up, and then I had to stay there through the whole day, to make sure there weren't any problems like later in the day. And so I was like, I don't know, I don't want to really be up super late or anything, knowing
right.
that I have to go to work super early, and then I got to work a full day, and then drive 3 hours or whatever to get to the other city. So I decided not to go. I pretty much ate dinner and then I went back to the hotel room and fell asleep. But look, I mean, it worked out fine, right? Because I was like still tired the next day, even doing that. So I can only imagine if I would have been out all night.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think the best concert I've ever been to was like Iron Maiden. They put on a pretty good show.
Well, that was something I forget who was talking about it, but somehow we were talking about like like pro rights like bands, because you know how they'll like people do like a concert for like like a gun violence concert, and we're raising money for gun control or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And someone was like, dude, we should do the opposite. And people started mentioning like bands that would kind of, are like pro gun and stuff. And that's a lot of them tend to be like metal bands. Like they, you hear about, trying to remember the one. There's one of them that's like the people in the bands are like friends with Jaeger or something. Like they've trained with him and
Oh,
they're,
wow.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. It was definitely something like that where someone was out shooting with like some firearm YouTube people,
Mhm.
and it was like I don't remember who it was, but they were someone like a System of a Down or someone like that kind of type of music where it's like kind of metal, kind of like hard rock.
Right. Right.
I forget who the heck it was though, but that'd be cool.
Yeah. Definitely. That would be. Ted Nugent.
Yeah,
You'd definitely be.
I mean, I feel like there'd probably be like a handful of country people,
Oh, for
um,
sure.
which I don't know, whatever. I would go even if I didn't like all the bands. It still would just be a cool event. And then I wouldn't have to sing so much. If someone else is doing it for me, and then, you know, I'm just doing it because there's not very many gun songs out there in the world.
You got to listen to country then, brother, if you want gun songs.
Well, even that, are they like super like pro rights, or is it more like they're just kind of like pandering with like gun terminology?
I think a lot of them are pro 2A, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if you're
Right, but
gonna
I mean,
find them.
are the song like I don't count like the whatever like I shot a man in Reno, like I don't count that as like a gun song or whatever, even though it's like
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna look up something. I know it's a pro gun song. I just cannot remember for the life of me who sings it. Uh, there's definitely pro gun guys out there in the country music world.
oh yeah, I mean like Kid Rock's like that.
I
Pants
heard
ass.
he
What are
might
we
be
calling the
running.
band? I don't know, dude. Smeggy and the awesome people. Smeggie, Smeggie, Smeggie and the Jets. The Cave Dwellers.
That's
I won't
awesome.
even. My name won't even be in it.
Smeggie and the Cave Dwellers.
Bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 bang. Do, 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 do. A bang, bang, bang. I'm loading up my guns, girl. Going to the range. Yeah, probably gonna shoot some targets. I've got my CZ right here. And I got some tack gear. Going to a training class. Come on. I don't want you to take my guns and take my rides. I'm gonna walk to the Capitol. No, because then that kind of sounds like you're gonna shoot up the Capitol. Because then the next line is then go bang bang bang. Yeah, I don't like that. So I'm going to walk out the door, going to the range. And I'm going to grab my guns, baby. Bang bang bang. Bang bang.
I'm never gonna let you go.
Bang bang bang. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because Keltex in your old pocket is bad for your health. Baby, bang, 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 bang. I can't say I know the song well enough to really much more than that. This is good. I'm liking the Smeggy Cave sing-a-thon. I hope you all enjoy.
Oh,
Although from
that's
the comments I get on YouTube, everyone wants me to shut the hell up, but I'm not listening to them. That one that I did with the Why I Carry, which you will see on the Smeggy Cave channel. I'm going to leave that up for a while. You can also see it on the YouTube side. Just called hashtag Why I Carry. But like all the comments on it were like, "Don't quit your day job, dude. You suck," or whatever. It's like, okay, thanks for taking the time out of your day to freaking insult me. Like that makes me feel awesome.
on your comments?
Yeah,
Really?
there's only a couple comments on that video, but
Huh. I put it in the side chat, the song I was talking about. I don't want to give anyone too much free publicity. It's a good song.
well, if it's a pro gun thing, let's give some free plugs.
It's definitely pro-gun.
Justin Moore guns.
Yeah, it's simple and to the point.
All right, yeah, I'll plug them. I've never even heard it, but whatever.
No, it's a good song. Check yourself.
I do like that with the other spelling of check. Anyways, I'm on my way to my video thing here. I can pull up the comments. Blah blah blah.
The chat is not hopping on the YouTube side.
Nah, we're bored, everybody.
I know.
See, Ben says I challenge you to a drum off when I get a drum kit. Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, don't quit your day. Oh, that's from fucking Clay. He's just a dick. And the other guy, oh my god, make it stop. That's Night Strike's anthem. No, it's not. I fucking wrote it. You're right, Pants. No one looks at YouTube anymore. Now that Gun Channels is back hopping. That's the way to go.
Yeah. Except NEA and Yankee.
Well, whatever. They don't even come over to gun channels anymore. Screw them. They're dumb.
Yeah, I thought they are part of gun channels, though, huh? Or were?
Yeah, I mean they still come around every once in a while. I'm just saying that when they're doing their shows, they don't seem to jump over to that side as much.
Right.
But
So does G-Webs ever sleep?
I'm not sure.
If he says he's working on his van and then he's going to jump in on the chat.
Oops, I'm still on my channel. That's not. I wanted to go to subscriptions. Yeah, I was hoping when midnight finished up, all those people would jump over into this one.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to
But
happen.
they might have just stayed on his till they went to bed. Which is fine too. Whatever. We got a few viewers, and that's all that counts. So, all right, yeah, guns are fun. Oh, I finally nailed down when I'm going up north. My buddy called me this afternoon, and he was like, "So, which weekend are we going up?" Because I knew it was gonna be near the end of April.
Mm.
I didn't know if it was gonna be like the 21st and 2nd or like the 28th, 29th. I wasn't sure. I knew it was going to be around like that week. And he asked me, he's like, when are we going up north again? I said, I don't know, like one of those 2 weekends. And I basically told him, I go, whichever one you have off. And he was like, okay, well, my boss just did the schedule and it goes out through like the 22nd. And I told him I wanted that weekend off. So I was like, all right, then that's the weekend we're going. Like that's, I'd like if other people go up, but like it's basically it's a thing that me and my buddy started doing. So if he can't go, it's like, oh, I don't really want to go. I'd rather just move it so that you can.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's good. That's nailed down. So now I can talk to some of the other people and let them know.
Are you going to have like a meet and greet?
No, this is more, I'm talking like, my friends and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
I might do a gun channels thing in the summer where I open it up for some more people.
Right.
Um, so, because I mean, it honestly, it might still be kind of chilly and stuff there. Might not even get a lot of shooting in, but I don't know. Like, it's weird because like the people that I've met already, they seem like good people and like that's fine.
Mm.
But I'd be hesitant to just be like, everyone's welcome because I mean, it's still, it's like my family property, and like it's a house that I built with my dad or whatever. Like, I don't think anyone's like the type person to, whatever, get drunk and punch a hole in the wall or something, but you never know. Like, I've been to parties where a friend of a friend shows up, and that dude, since he doesn't give a shit about whose ever house it is,
Right.
just is a complete jerk and whatnot. So,
Ends up going bad.
right.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not accusing any of the gun channels people of being like that because so far all of them I met have been fine. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely on the. It's not going to just be open to like, oh, you've commented on a couple of my videos. Go ahead and show up. Like, nah, I'm going to have to at least have hung out with you like someplace else for a while first.
Mm.
Are fireworks legal in Michigan? Yes, they are. Actually, that's something we just got. I don't know, 3, 4 years ago. Like the ones that shoot up into the air. those used to be illegal, and now they're legal. I feel bad for all the fireworks stands that are like right at the Ohio border, because it was all Michigan people driving down, crossing the border, buying a bunch of fireworks and coming back with them. I mean, that's why they're literally a half mile from the border. Because like no one in Ohio lives in that city. Like it only exists for people coming from Michigan. And now, like people in Michigan just buy them there. So
I never even knew that illegal fireworks were a thing.
oh, Pants is saying they're actually illegal in Ohio, but they sell them all over the place. Cops don't care. I thought they were legal in Ohio. That's why, because all the people I know, like back in the day, that was the whole thing. Is you drive to Ohio, they got the stands right there. You buy all the, because I mean we could have like some stuff, but anything that like shoots up into the air was banned, and they recently got rid of that. So now you can get them at freaking Walmart, and has little whatever, all sorts of stuff that shoots everywhere.
You have to sign a waiver saying that you are taking them out of the state within 24 hours.
Oh wow, that's funny. So like that is why they are right at the border. So technically, like that whole time, they're the only customers they were allowed to sell to were like people from Michigan. And yet I'm sure the people from Michigan like were like, oh, we're not bringing these home because we can't shoot them here. Yeah, that's one of those things that, like I said, I as a child always saw, people with fireworks, and it's like I never saw the cops called on people. The only time I even heard of something was someone was having a huge 4th of July party. And for one, it was kind of getting out of hand anyways. Like you could hear them like, being super loud. They had the music cranked, which, okay, that's fine, whatever. But now it's getting on to be later in the night. And, they shot off fireworks at like nightfall, and that no one really cared or whatever. And then they started shooting fireworks off like again at like 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, at the point where it's like, all right, most normal people are sleeping, which, as I say this at freaking 4 in the morning and I'm still awake. But you know what I mean? Like shooting off fireworks at 10 o'clock is a little different than shooting off fireworks at 3 in the morning. And for one, it got to the point where it's like, okay, these people have been partying since lunchtime and they're handling fireworks. Like, and so I did see the cops responded to that, which I don't know if they ever really got in trouble, or if it was more they showed up and were like, hey, like, stop doing that and like be quiet, because they still had their music cranked. I mean, I could hear it from down the street, and you hear them laughing and yelling, and I mean, they were mostly just having a good time. But there's something to be said about noise ordinances and stuff.
Yeah.
Part of it bugs me as being a night owl, and especially like back in the day when I worked afternoon shift, and I'd go over to my buddy's house. I was helping him work on his house, and we'd be running the saw or whatever. We only had the cops show up one time. It was like 11:30, and the cops came up. We were out in his garage. I mean, the door was open and all that stuff. But it was like, hey, you can't be like cutting wood, like that's too loud or whatever. We literally had one more piece to cut, and we basically were like, hey, is it okay? Like, we already have it marked off. Can we cut this like one last piece, and then like we're done with the saw? Like, you literally showed up 10 seconds before we were done. We do one more, because without it, like, we can't even like start on the project of assembling it, because we had everything laid out. It's like, let's just cut everything all at once and then work on, putting it all together and stuff. So the cop was nice, like, all right, one more. And we went, and then we're like, all right, we're done. Sorry about that. Because we knew we didn't want to be cutting shit at 2 in the morning, but it's like I didn't get off work till forget, whatever, 10 o'clock, 10:30 or something we started, and it's like, we had like a half hour worth of cutting. Well, apparently in our city, like after 10 o'clock you can't be loud. Which I didn't think running a miter saw in the garage was like that loud.
Right.
So it was either his next door neighbor or no one, because like you couldn't hear it down the street or nothing, but probably the neighbor got mad.
Are you in a more rural area or
No, it's in the
yeah,
city.
city neighborhood? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can, you know, I wouldn't say you can reach the neighbor's house from like the side of your house, but you could definitely throw rocks at the house from your house and hit it super easy.
Yeah. I live in a neighborhood also. It's the houses are very close.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my house is a little more spread out than his just because of the whatever, like kind of the way it's set up. But
Mhm.
yeah, his house, you go out the side of the garage, like a little sidewalk to get into his backyard, and then like the neighbor, there's a fence, and the neighbor has probably about the width of a sidewalk, and then the house. So that's what we're talking, maybe 8 foot from one to the other, like,
Okay.
and that was the side we were cutting on. So
Yeah.
I get it. We were trying to be fast though. I mean, we that's why we planned it out of like cutting everything first and then just being done, so we could be quiet. Because
Right.
everything else we were just putting together and like glue and shit, and I guess we had a couple screws and a drill or whatever, but that would be like in the house, and a little cordless drill isn't all that loud. So anyway, we don't need to talk about noise ordinance anymore. So, but yeah, I don't know if I would use fireworks up north though, just because like if something happened as far as like a fire or whatever, because I mean we're in a big field in the middle of the woods. And I think that's part of the reason why they banned fireworks was because of like forest fire type stuff. But like if something happened, there's no one around. I mean, you could, if you have cell service, which we don't have super reliability up there, but like if we had enough service to like call the fire department, it's all volunteer firefighters and they're showing up 2 hours later type of thing.
So you're talking going up north like the UP or just north?
No, the northern part of the lower peninsula,
Okay.
basically like Pinky Knuckle
Right,
over
right.
by northwest.
Okay.
I love saying that. It's where are you going? Oh, like the tip of the middle finger, uh, out to the thumb, in the ring finger knuckle. And they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" It's like, look at the back of your left hand, put all your fingers together, and then there you go.
I just like saying the UP.
Yeah, I guess I've been to the UP when I was a kid. I don't really remember it,
Uh-huh.
but I haven't really been there since. It is nice up there, though. I mean, it's nice just to, even what I call up north, let alone if you go all the way up to the UP, it's even more like national forest or state forests and stuff.
Yeah, the Hiawatha National Forest.
So, yeah, so I can't bring 2 cases of mortar up there. Uh, nah. I just have too much to lose, man. If we freaking start a forest fire and my house burns down, that's no good. Especially if the old farmhouse goes, freaking 100-year-old log cabin that my great grandpa built.
Yeah.
I'll be pretty pissed if that goes just because I wanted 10 seconds of excitement of shooting a firework.
That's really not worth it.
Nah, that's one of the things when you're driving up there. There's like a fire station or whatever, and there's a little Smokey the Bear thing, and I was like today's fire risk, and they change it to like mild or extreme or like very low fire risk, and so
Mm.
it actually is kind of nice as you're driving by because it kind of lets you know like have they gotten rain up there recently or not. And if it's the middle of summer and it hasn't rained in a while, then yeah, my entire field will be a frickin' it's all just dead grass.
So,
Now, that being said, I'm sure a lot of people oh, yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry, I just saw your thing.
oh, no. I was just gonna ask you a question real quick before.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
So what kind of hearing protection and eye protection do you use personally, I guess, when you're shooting?
That's a good question.
What do you recommend?
No, I got stuff. I actually just recently got a pair of Howard Light, like electric muffs.
Yeah, I was trying to get into to bring up my new little purchase, but go ahead. So the Howard lights,
Mm-hmm.
you like them?
Yeah, I've only used them once so far at indoor range, but
Okay.
they seem to work pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah, I just got in today. I ordered on Amazon the Peltor uh Tactical 100s, the electronic earmuffs. So I've been playing around with those since I got them in tonight. I got them around like 6 o'clock tonight. I've been messing with them. I haven't gone shooting with them yet, so I have no idea how, how they work. I can't really say much.
Yeah. I had a pair of oh my God, I don't remember the brand. They were like a cheaper brand of electric muffs.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things I didn't like realize until I had the Howard lights, because like the other ones, you'd turn them on and like you would just instantly start hearing like a little bit of crackle and whatever. And then if you cranked it up all the way,
Mm.
it was very like staticky. I mean, you could hear okay, and it did like it cut out when the shot went off fine, so it was nice and it protected your hearing and all that stuff.
Right.
But just like there was like a constant like background noise. The Howard lights I turned on and I was like, did I put the batteries in backwards or something? Like what? Like, and I cranked it all the way up, and then I heard just like a tiny little bit of static, but
Okay.
like not a lot. So I was like, oh, this. So, because like I said, the other ones I turn them on and just have a constant like a just kind of constant, like real low.
Yeah.
And then, when people talk, it'd be louder. And then when the gun went off, it would, cut out and all that stuff. So I was like, oh, this is just like a better quality microphone.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It has to be a better quality microphone, I guess, so it doesn't get that static feedback.
Right.
But,
and that's, yeah, Pants brought up something. Sometimes you need earplugs underneath them. If an indoor range let people shoot AR or whatever, or AR pistols, I always put foam underneath my muffs when I go to indoor range.
do you?
Yeah, just because you
So
never
loud.
know what other people are going to be shooting, and
Right.
it just helps out. Now, when I'm like up north outside, just the muffs are fine. Every once in a while, I'll put like a foam plug in my right ear, and then put the muffs on.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I'm bringing the rifle up, like getting a cheek weld, sometimes it like bumps the muff. Like, if you're really like trying to get down into the scope, and maybe it's just because I need to change the scope height a little bit or something. But I've just noticed that at times when I let off a shot and realized, oh, I like broke the seal on my ear muff, and like that was loud as shit. Because they get in the way when you're really getting, especially like I said, when I got my one rifle, I'm looking through the scope, and I got it up on a rest, and I'm really like leaned into it and getting down into it. So I don't know, maybe I just need to adjust how I'm holding it or whatnot. But so I'll put a foam one in there in case it happens. And that was one of the things with the Howard Light. I've only used it the one time just now at the indoor range.
Right.
And So it's like I did hear people being loud, and I did hear it kind of cut out and stuff. But because the foam ones were in, like I still kind of had trouble hearing people, you know. So
Yeah.
I'll look forward to testing them out up north
Those
when
Howard
it's
lights are nice and slim too.
yeah. And that's the thing. I haven't shot rifle with them yet either. So maybe I won't have that problem with these ones because
Right.
they definitely, you're right, they do not stick out as much as my old ones.
Yeah. They have a good profile on them. That it was up in the air between the Howard lights and the Peltors.
I'll tell you this though, one of the things I don't like about the Howard lights, which I liked about my other ones had a light on the side to show you if it was on.
Ah, yeah.
And that really, really helps before you
Yeah.
put it away in your range bag to make sure you
Yeah.
actually shut it off.
Yeah, the Peltors don't have any light.
And with the Howard lights, because they're so like they're not staticky or whatever. Because that was the other thing is like if I didn't have the light, sometimes I just like I'd put them on and I'm hearing crackling or static until I hear it go click, and then I know it's off. You know, because it's like, oh yeah, the sound went away. Well, these I was going back and forth with it, going like, like I said, I wasn't even sure if they were really even quite working. Um, what are you saying? The Howard lights will turn off after so much time if you forget. Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, it has a 2 hour auto turn off.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. So
Why you read the directions, man? The manual.
what the fuck you talk about? They're ear pro. You put them
Hey,
on your ear and they
o-
protect them.
obviously you didn't read it though, and you didn't know about the auto turn
I
off.
I did not. You know what I did? I said,
What?
"Oh, I'm going to the range with my neighbor and well, I guess it would be tomorrow because I packed up my range bag the night before." So I came back from singing karaoke Friday night,
Mm,
and then I said, "Okay, I'm going to the range tomorrow, but I want to kind of sleep in till like basically right before we go, so I can
mhm.
like wake up, take a shower, walk out the door." Because we were going at like I forget, like 10:30 in the morning or something. I'm like, Jesus, who goes that early on a Saturday?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But it actually worked out good. There it wasn't super busy, so we got right in. But anyway, so Friday night I packed up and said, "Oh, I'm going to the range tomorrow. Hey, I got this ear pro for Christmas. Let me pull out my bayonet, slice, open package, ear pro in the range bag, go to bed."
I guess that's an excuse. Should always read the directions. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna go look at them now just so I can read the instructions.
Yeah, it should be pretty concise.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
so
it's
anyways, so Pants is saying here that he wants to try new electric ears, but at the price tag, yeah, the Peltors were like
yeah,
almost
they're
300 bucks.
they're 280, man.
Like I said,
And
I'm not
that's
sure how much the Howard lights are. I got it as a present, a Christmas present.
yeah, they run around 40 on Amazon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought they were a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Howard lights are light 60. Okay. 60.
Oh,
That sounds about right.
well, then I got ripped off. Thanks, Santa. I thought I got a nicer thing than I really did.
You can't be mad at that, man. $60 ear pro compared to some foam ones that cost like $1, you know? And they're good. You see all the guys wearing them on on the YouTubes. Oh, he's talking about oh,
About the in-ear ones.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't even know they had in-ears for Howard lights. Howard lights are good for the money. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the battery's a 2 hour or 200-hour runtime for it, so definitely shouldn't have to change them out anytime soon.
yeah. And they are like comfortable, so that part's kind of nice. And they do have they have a thing for hooking up like music or whatever, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, so does mine. The audio jack. I just wonder if it cuts out the music when it cuts out the gun blast. Not that it would matter that much.
What the heck? I'm not seeing the ones I got. I'm on the website. I'm seeing the passive earmuffs.
You got the Impact Sports, right?
Maybe. I mean, I don't remember what the thing's called.
Dude, it says on the side.
Dude, I'm sitting in my living room. So what does it say on the side of mine? Can you tell me?
It says Impact Sport. I don't know. I don't know what it says
Yeah, I
on
think
it.
it does.
Yeah, it should. I mean, that's the most popular Howard Light.
It was just weird because like that wasn't a list. Like when you go to their main thing, that
Mm.
that wasn't like part of the like that wasn't an option.
Yeah, well, if you go
But
to the
once you
Peltor
like get
site,
into it, yeah, then you can see on the side. You can get the
oh,
sport tactical or the pro or the headband type or the helmet or whatever.
I want a helmet. I want a bump helmet. Pants is going off. He's got all the links.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I was doing my own research.
He's helping you out, man. That's what I. Yep.
All right, let's see what he's got, and then let's look at these other ones. And yeah, that's the Howard Light Impact Sport. Yep, that's like the same thing I'm looking at. So what's this other one? Oh, the Peltor um the earplug kit, which is like $400.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But that is one of those things that like
389. Jesus.
if it's something you're gonna use, like then it might be worth it. Like people that like work on a range and stuff, I mean,
Right.
yeah, their ears are super important, and that's you
True.
need to have that comfort of wearing something for 8 hours a day.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's see, they don't sound good if you put music through them. I don't use it for that anyways. Yeah, that's the thing. They might be good for hunting. I've talked before. I don't wear ear pro when I go hunting.
What?
Yeah, I don't wear ear pro when I go hunting because I figure for one I want to hear stuff.
Right.
For two, I don't want to like hurt my ears wearing ear pro for like all day for a week and not see anything anyway. So what was the point? So
Yeah, you
yeah,
can definitely.
and it's probably dumb, but I've also, out of the 15 years I've been hunting, I've shot 3 deer. So it's like I pulled the trigger once every 5 years. One gunshot every 5 years is probably not gonna, make me deaf tomorrow. It's not good for me. I don't get me wrong, but
How many
uh,
years have you been hunting?
like 15.
And really only 3 deer?
Yeah.
I'm not judging. I've never been hunting, so I didn't know it was that rare to actually be able to pull the trigger.
Well, for where we go and whatnot, it is
Hmm.
just because we're not near any farms or anything. Like all of our neighbors are just like houses in the woods.
Okay.
It's like I know plenty of other people up there that, like my cousin who lives in it, he lives like 20 minutes away or whatever, and he has a farm and then he works the farm across the street, which is my dad's aunt.
Mhm.
And it's all like cornfields and wheat and whatever, all the different stuff. And it's for him, it's like going to the grocery store. Like he gets up, walks across the street, like shoots a deer, drags it into the barn, cuts it up, and he's good to go. Like he gets his whole family goes hunting. They all get like the 2 deer combo license or whatever, and so they all get 2 deer a year. It's like it just they rarely ever leave a tag unfilled.
Okay.
But that's just the area they're in, where versus ours. I mean, we have a decent deer population, but it's just they don't come out as much, and there's just not as many.
Yeah.
And with the new restrictions on antlers, I follow that.
Mm.
So even if there are like some smaller deer, I have to wait for them to get a little bit bigger.
All right, Smeggy brother. I'm gonna have to jump off here.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
Oh, you too.
Morning.
Mm. Oh, whatever.
Whatever.
I want to plant apple trees up there. I talked about that the other day. But yeah, I'm saying plant an apple tree and you could get a deer from your kitchen window. Besides being against the rules, yeah, that does take the fun out of it. No, he's leaving. He's not saying you're leaving. Mm. I don't know if I have more deal than I know what to do with, but it would kind of encourage him to stick around a little bit more. Part of the problem is I'm pretty sure my neighbor on the one side, he kind of shoots anything that walks by. Because every once, and I don't know for sure, so I don't want to throw out too many allegations. But sometimes in the summer, you ever hear like one or two shots, and then that's it. Like, I guess you might be testing out a new load, or just shooting twice for the fun of it. But normally when I go target shooting, I shoot more than twice. And when you hear that bang, a couple seconds go by, bang, and then nothing else, it makes you wonder, what is he shooting? Yeah, could be shooting a raccoon or something. Fine, whatever. But I have a feeling there are some deer that aren't quite as safe over on that other property. So it makes it hard to build the herd. I don't think he has any chickens. I see what you're getting at, though. He might be shooting something that's, coming after some of his stuff. Yeah, no, it's just property. Like, that's what I'm saying. There are no like farms around me. Like, there's not even anyone that has like horses or cows or like grows stuff. I mean, yes, you know, a little bit away there are, but like out of all of like, I guess what you would call like next door neighbors, which granted up north is, anywhere from half mile to a mile away type thing. But out of all them, they're just houses like in the woods. And some of them have like some clearings. Like the one dude, he like cut down a handful of trees, and so he like made a bunch of little clearings, and he like sold all the wood or whatever, and kind of did it like one time only. Like he didn't clear cut, but he like took out a big chunk of trees, and then was like done. And he got the property from his dad. His dad would kind of do it where he'd cut down like 5 trees a year and sell it, and that money like paid for the taxes. But then he's like, he was always doing something. Well, when he passed away, gave it to his son, the son came in and was like, why don't I just like take out these little like, whatever, couple acre like chunks, like cut the trees and like I said, made like almost like little like checkered board. Like there's a clearing here, clearing there, clearing here, clearing there. I mean, it's got 80 acres, but he just took out like a little bit of everything, did it all at once. Like I said, sold all the stuff. And now he got like one big like lump sum amount of money. And now he can pay the taxes on the thing for the next 15 years. But even with that, it's not a working farm. It's just, he just kind of has like wild weeds and flowers and stuff growing like in the opening, which I think he's just going to let the trees kind of come back anyways, because now that you've opened it up, you get more sunlight. The trees will come back. Yeah, it would be nice to have 80 acres. That's a good chunk. That's a good, you could put a house up front or whatever and then have a little back part and then still have a part that's like, oh yeah, that's like the woods part. Like that's the side. Yeah, to find 80 acres, you do have to be out in the middle of nowhere type of thing. And you're already an hour away just to get 3 acres, which 3 acres is nice. That's a nice little, keeps your neighbors away from you. Like I was saying before, like where I'm at, that I could hit all of my neighbors' houses with a rock if I wanted to, like in each direction. Oh, see, that's nice. At least you have woods, though. I mean, yeah, even if you don't own it, like it's just it's nice to just have that there. Like I know a handful of people that their property backs up to like state land, so it's like same thing. They don't own that, but they don't have neighbors because it's just like the state land stuff, and they can go like hiking and camping there like whenever they want anyways because it's open to the public. The only downside is when people wander onto their property from the state land because they don't realize that it changed. So it's not like there's like a giant fence up or anything. Hmm. Yeah, it's nice to wander around. I mean, we wander around up north and kind of go through other people's stuff sometimes, and most people are all right. Especially if you just tell them like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just walking through. Like I'm just You don't mess with their shit. There was one time that we were out snowshoeing and we were walking along like the power line, which they cut like a big chunk through the woods for like the big power lines. And so we were walking along there, and then we ended up like we were cutting through this guy's property because we knew that there was a road like back there, and we were gonna like cut over to the road and then walk along the side of the road because it's a little bit easier. Like if the plow came by, like walking on the side of the road, because like the snow is packed down a little bit more, so you don't really sink as much. People think snowshoes, you just walk up on top of the snow. No, not when it's fluffy and stuff. You're still sinking like mid calf. It's just you're not sinking up to your hip. Like that's the advantage. But it's a lot of work every time you lift your foot up because you're bringing all that snow up with you. You kind of have to learn to like shuffle and like angle your feet. It's a weird way of walking. Anyways, so we're cutting through, and we run into this guy, and he's, hey, what are you doing? But oh, sorry, we're just we're just out walking. We know there's a road out this way somewhere. We're trying to get out that way. Blah blah blah. And he was a little like standoffish with us, and come to find out, like basically, this dude, like he knew my family growing up. Like he's lived up there his whole life. Like he knows my dad's aunts and uncles. They all grew up together. And anyways, he thought there's a place up there. These guys, they bought a bunch of property up there, and like as soon as they bought it, they put a bunch of fences up and all the no trespassing and blah blah blah, because they wanted to do like a hunting thing up there. And so this guy was saying, "Oh yeah, you Flatlanders," which is what up north people call us because we're flat. But I think I save that for like Ohio and Indiana people. They're more flat than we are, but whatever. He's like, you guys come up here, and the first thing you do is put fences around all your property, and then you go walking around on other people's property. And we were like, hey man, like, sorry, like we'll head back out to the right of way and take that down. It's just we know it's a lot shorter if we can catch up with the road that's coming along here. And like I said, he was like, it was almost like passive aggressive. Like he wasn't like being super pissed. Anyway, so eventually my dad's like, well, hey, listen, I'm sorry about that. But let me introduce myself. He says his name. The guy recognizes the last name, was like, oh, are you related to so and so and blah blah? And my dad's like, yeah, that's my uncle and my aunt and and he's like, oh, I didn't know it was you guys. He goes, I thought you were the damn hunting camp over there. And he's like, yeah, you guys could cut through here all you want. Like he all of a sudden was like super nice. Then he started asking, hey, how's so and so? I haven't seen them in a while and blah blah blah. And then he told a story about one of my dad's uncles before he passed away. Because he had moved away from the state, he came back one last time, and this guy like took him out hunting. Like because the guy, like my uncle wanted, or my dad's uncle, but whatever, I'll just call him uncle. Like he wanted to come back and see the farm one last time because I mean he knew he was going. It was one of those like he was going downhill, and he was going downhill pretty fast. So he's like, I want to go home one last time. Like, yeah, I haven't been in Michigan for 20 years. Like, I want to see the house one last time. And this dude went over there and took him over there, and they went hunting, and he stayed with them for a couple days, and the guy went back home and blah, 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 whatever. So, he told that whole story, which I had never heard that before. That was kind of interesting. Like, oh, okay. Because he was one of the older ones. Like, a lot of the family had passed away before I was even born. Like, I think there were 3 kids. Hang on. No, there were 4. No, 3. I'm thinking of one of the guys who's actually my dad's cousin, but he's as old as some of my dad's aunts. Yeah, no, he was not that generation. He's the generation below. Yeah, so there were 3 left out of, oh my God, 8, 9. I feel really bad. I'm sorry, it's late. I feel bad for my family. I don't remember all of them. It's hard never have knowing them. I know 3 of them went over to Alaska and never had kids or anything. So it's like that, I know of them. Like I said, being like my dad's uncles or whatever, but having never met I don't have any cousins from there, any whatever, like there's just a name. Like I don't really know. I can't put a face to it or whatever. Um there's them, there's the guy out in Washington. My grandpa, yeah, 8. So 8 of that generation. I forget why I was trying to figure that part out. Oh, because only 3 of them were left alive by the time I was even born. That's what I was talking about. And then now we're down to 2. My dad's aunt had passed away 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. So, anyways, it's kind of nice to hear stories about the family. And the point of that was all talking about walking on other people's property. Especially back in the day, all those people would cut through people's property all the time. And no one cared. Like, as long as you're not destroying anything, it's just like, hey, what are you doing back here? It's like, oh, I'm trying to walk back to my barn, but if I take the road, it's going to be 5 miles. If I cut through here, it's going to be, 10 minutes. And it's like, oh yeah, of course. Come on through. Who cares? Pants is a flat billy because there ain't no hills in Ohio. You guys have some like super far south in Ohio. That's one of the weird like when you're driving, like let's say you jump on 75 from Detroit and just you're going straight south, you're going to run that down into Florida or whatever. Going through Ohio is one of those weird ones because yeah, it starts out like super flat. Well, I mean, you cut through Toledo first. So that's your first impression of Ohio is, oh, gee, it's Toledo. And then you get out in the middle of nowhere and you're just freaking like, oh my God, this is the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around. And then you keep going and all of a sudden you start getting into like hills, which kind of start turning into a little bit of mountains and whatnot. And you run into like Kentucky and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, now we got some hills here. So I won't say all of Ohio is flat, but definitely the whole north half is, straight. I can understand why people think that, the earth is flat. It certainly looks like it if you're in Ohio. Although Indiana is just as bad, freaking cornfields as far as the eye can see. So, anyways, I do like up north, though. Take my guns up there, go shooting. Have I seen this? PSA, one more air. I saw someone say something about one more. I didn't know what that was all about. Is that like a slap in the face to the not one more people? And we're saying, hey, hashtag one more? Is that the idea? Add one more AR-15 to your rifle collection today with our hashtag one more series. Blah, 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 blah. All right, $60. That's a pretty good price for a lower. Weekend deal. Oh, it expires at the weekend deal expires at midnight tonight. So I guess jump on that. You got till Monday night at midnight. PSA. Must be 21 or older to purchase? What the hell, PSA? That's bullshit. Especially since they're doing one less. Yeah, okay, so the hashtag one less is when people like chop one in half or whatever. Which I saw an interesting thing to that. They said if destroying your own firearm reduces violence, that means you were going to commit violence. And the person like rephrased it, said like, if I chop off my own dick to reduce rape, I'm admitting I'm a rapist. You know what I mean? Like that's a good analogy. Like if you weren't going to commit a crime with that gun, you destroying it is not solving any crime. So, but anyways, the idea that okay, they're doing this as like a almost as a counter protest kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna have one less, but we're gonna do one more. And then saying you have to be 21 to buy it. It's what the hell's up with that? I don't like that at all. It's a freaking lower. You should be able to buy that at 18. It's a long gun. I guess, or it's an other, right? Most people buy them as others. Maybe that is the law. Maybe you have to be 21 to buy an other. So maybe they are just following federal law. Okay, I'll take it back if that's the case. I'll have to look into that more. Yeah, it is an other, but like federally, do you have to be 21 to buy an other? I know you have to be 21 to buy a handgun. Right. Okay, because it could be built as a pistol. But if you buy it as a can you buy it as a rifle though? Like, because I know there's like an option when you're filling out the 4473. I went with others so I could put it together however I felt like. Because once you buy it as a rifle, it can't be turned into a pistol. Well, that's a good idea. Yeah, look at the complete rifles because those should be, 18. I just don't want to give them too much credit if they're like, we're fighting for you on your side. Oh, but by the way, we're following these policies. But if it's a law, then I can't give them crap for that. They're following the law. Just like it says can't be sold to California or whatever. It's like, okay, well, that makes sense. But like I said, I don't want to give them credit if they're caving. Well, it's not even necessarily even. Yeah, I guess it could be something with the law of where they're at, but I'm thinking maybe it's federal law because the handgun thing's a federal, and then some states like Florida have made long guns 21 as a state law. Which I'll tell you what, if I was 20 right now, I'd be even more pissed than I am now. And I'm well, pissed maybe isn't the right word, but I'm upset by what they're doing as it is right now. Let alone if I was like 20 and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I'm a year away and I have to wait now. Okay, it doesn't say must be 21 on their complete rifles. Okay, so then I'm guessing they know what they're talking about, and maybe because it's an upper or because it's an other, it has to be 21. So, all right, then cool. If you wanted your rifle to be a hashtag, then buy a hashtag one more. I said $60 for a lower is a pretty good price. Do they make their own lowers, or do they just get them from somewhere? And if so, do you know who makes it for them? Because I know there's only like a handful of forges out there, anyways. But that can be misleading because sometimes the lower price, like if you say, "Oh, this is the same place that makes stuff for FN or whatever," it's like, yeah, that's true, but they might like take the cream of the crop and stamp them FN, and then take the lesser ones and stamp them, PSA or whatever. Because I mean, lowers can have a difference for sure. I got a spikes lower just because I really wanted the honey badger, and I noted like the finishing and just like the attention to detail and stuff was better than
You're talking
what
to
was
yourself.
that other one? Olympic or Olympus? Is that?
What are you
I feel
talking
like
about?
it's.
What's going on here?
Oh, there's someone in here. What's
You're
up,
just talking
man?
to yourself. You're just talking to yourself this time. This whole time.
Not the whole time. Troy just left, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. I've been talking to Pants. He's typing in the chat.
Oh.
Over on the gun channel side because he's awesome.
Right on.
But no, I was just talking about lowers. I was trying to remember a company, and I thought it was like Olympus or maybe Olympic. Anyways, the point of that was the finishing was like a lot rougher than the spikes, and we had to kind of like finish drill all the holes because like the finishing had gotten into the holes where the pins go, and it was a pain in the butt getting them in. So we had to like clean up the inside of the hole before the roll pin would go in. So, because Pants had brought up there's a sale from PSA for #1more on a lower, which is an answer to the #1less of all the people chopping their guns up. It's like, okay, you've chopped up your gun. Well, I'm gonna build one. So now it's even. So how's it going, man?
Pretty good. Just got done taking a shower. I went to this one, I'm Planet Fitness or whatever, the purple place.
Right.
I go to the one in San Bernardino, right? And it was all right out front, but then you get in there and the place was shitty. It was all gross, and then some like weird guy was taking a shower all naked with like the thing open and weird. And normally they have like little rooms, and then you'd like each shower has its own little room kind of thing, and like a bathroom with like the shitter. How the shitters have stalls, except instead of having a shitter in there, it's just a bench, right? So it's basically like having a bunch of bathrooms with no bathrooms in there, but there's like little stalls, right? So you can go in there and change or whatever and do your business, and then right there is your shower. In this place, there's just a big ass room there, no like stalls or anything, which is like, all right, it's awkward. But then there's like one guy showering with like without even closing the shower curtain, which is weird. And then some guy's mopping like that whole big ass open area for no reason. He's just in there mopping. I'm like, this ain't my scene. I'm out of here. No fucking way I'm taking a shower in there. So I left and I came over to this one. And this one's more like the standard, like I described, and then except nice because the like what I described there can be kind of like, we did exactly what you said you don't needed us to do. And then there's some of them that are like, oh, we're going to go well beyond that and make it all luxury. This one was pretty nice, but for some reason they cut the hot water off in the middle, which was kind of lame. So I don't know if that's like some way to fuck with people or if like their hot water heater's just having trouble. But big ass shower, and then like, how there's sometimes you get a shower where it's like the hose with a shower head on it.
Yeah.
And then other times you get a shower where it's a regular shower on the wall. And then sometimes you go to places and that shower's like at your belly button. Well, this place, the shower's way up in the air and there's both. You get the little thing and the other thing. So you can have both on at the same time. Flip it to the both on at the same time business. So it was crazy. And then
That's why they cut the hot water off, because you could sit in there for 2 hours just like getting all warm, and like I do like the wand thing for like, you know, putting right on your shoulder or something. Like if you got like a knot, it kind of like loosens your muscles up or whatever.
Oh yeah. So anyway, this one was pretty good. But so I got to get some work done here, maybe.
That's cool. You got your batteries all charged up and stuff from running the van.
Well, what I drove about an hour, I guess. I think I drove about an hour. So yeah, they should be charged. It seemed like it. The lights are all bright and shit. Whenever I was before, we did the whole show, and then me and Angelina were like mapping out things on a map. I can't really share it to you because it's live, right? But I got like a map with a bunch of places on it, and then my monitor started to flicker, like it does. So I started shutting everything else off, and then eventually even shut that monitor off. And then I was like, "Fuck this! I gotta go because the thing's gonna, go to nothing." So I don't know. It's probably something about stepping it up and pulling amps out of there, because this thing over here is a 2 amp charger, or a 2 amp USB charger. So I'm thinking maybe it's doing some kind of waste of space or waste of electric draw.
Oh yeah. Anytime you convert it, you're gonna have some. You're gonna have losses.
But I mean, because it's here, I maybe need to put a switch on it. Maybe like when it's not being used, it's still pull and draw, like some things will do. And that's compensating for a DC, well, like for a standalone battery system, right? Like you can't handle a little trickle draw all the time.
Right. Yeah, you got some, vampire electronics going on. Like maybe even unplug your other monitor or something when you're not using it.
What is it with you people? And my fucking monitor just bothers you people.
It doesn't bother me. I'm just saying it seems like
you got 2 eyes. Why would you only want one monitor? Doesn't make any sense to me.
When you're driving, I'm just saying maybe it's draining from the battery even when you're not using it or something. I don't know. Whatever. Do whatever you want.
No, it definitely is. But at the same time, whenever I'm driving it, the battery is being charged, right? But when the van's just sitting here 24/7, it's dragging power, I think.
Yeah.
In other words, when the van's running, it's always being recharged.
Right.
I don't think it does this. I think it might have like once it gets to full, it stops, but that's it. Like it's always charging. So I could have everything on back here, basically, is what I'm saying. And it would just pull off the engine, I think.
Right. Yeah, and then it just might take a little bit longer to charge if you're pulling from it while
charging. A little bit longer. But I can just, if everything's dim back here and acting shitty, and even the fan will start slowing down, go over there, turn the engine on, boom, everything's back to zoom. Like that alternator, I guess, is throwing back good juice, good electric juices. So is there even a link? Oh, here it is. Does it say, is there even a link to this fucking cave? What the fuck? Here, there's people chatting on the gun channel side.
Yeah, Pants is out there. I think he's about the only one who's been talking.
See some new names out there.
Yeah, the Smeggie Cave brings in everybody.
So I think I have a pretty decent plan to start out the day tomorrow. Oh, that's something I need to do. When you travel, and it's like your banks will just be like, "Oh no, that's fraudulent." Like, nope, we won't take that one. Like I'm having that happen to me. Like went to the store and like won't take it or whatever. Like not accepted. Then I go to the other place and I go to get gas, and it won't even take my card. So
you might have to
force the companies to recognize that you're out of state.
Yeah, you can call them up and let them know, like, hey, I'm gonna be in these states, so like like almost like pre-approve them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I should get.
Because I had that happen before. Actually, I had it happen just going up to northern Michigan, and the thing shut off. And I don't have
Shit.
like this was even back in the day when like the cell phones didn't work at all up there. Now you can like kind of get a signal when you're up there, but we're still like between towers, which is kind of nice because I'll just shut my phone off for the weekend. Like I don't care. I'm dead to the world. I'm having fun.
I went to this gas station, and that was the other thing, is they're like debit only. Fuck. So I had to pull money out of this one account. It doesn't really have that much money, so I just went over $2. Oops, like from Luckily, it went over $2 after midnight, so it didn't hit a $35 fee. Like if I would have done that, 2 hours earlier, it would have been a $35 $2 over.
Oh, but now you can like transfer from something else and it will be fine.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So anyways, I used it on like Friday on the way up north. And I guess they tried calling me, but my phone didn't have signal or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then I was driving home and it didn't work. Luckily, I'm the type of person that like I'll at least have like $20 in my wallet or something like as a backup kind of thing. So I was able to at least be like, okay, this isn't working. This was back in the day. I only had one credit card. I was like, 18 or 19, something like that. So it's like if this doesn't work, I mean, I didn't have like a debit card or anything at the time. So it's like luckily I had a little bit of cash on me. And so anyways, when I got home, I checked like the voicemail and I heard this thing like, "Hey, we have some suspicious activity." So I called the place up and was like, "Yeah, that was me. Like I got gas on the way up north or whatever." And they're like, oh, "Okay." And then I even asked them like, "Is there some way that like I can approve like northern Michigan? Like this is a thing I do every other weekend. Do I have to deal with this every other weekend? Because there's no way, especially back I was driving a 94 Explorer. I couldn't drive up north and back on one tank of gas. Like I had to fill up on the way up and I had to fill up on the way home. I couldn't make the whole trip with a tank of gas. And anyways, they're like, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem." And then next time I went up, the same thing happened. So I did it again. I'm like, I thought we went over this. And then they're like, "Oh, yeah, no, you're good to go." And I never had a problem since then with like that card. And then my other one, like the first time I went out of town for work, because I just got a Cabela's card a couple years ago for building up points or whatever. And that's one of the things that's nice if you're traveling for work, you use a card that builds up points, and then your work gives you the money for the thing because it's an expense, and then you just pay it off every month anyway. So you don't build up any interest or whatever, but you end up getting all the points. So like the first time I went out of town with that, it happened. And on that one, I just told them like, "Listen, I travel for work in like, any state. Like I have no idea where I might be. And sometimes I go to like Canada or Mexico or whatever." They said, "Well, we'll approve you like for any state, but if you're going to go out of the country, like call us first and we'll get it for you." And I was like, "That's probably a good idea. Just I don't want them to just put in there like this can be used anywhere in the world. Fuck it."
Well, yeah, I would be kind of
Then if it
scared
does
about
get
any
used,
state too. I'd be concerned about any state also. That could be pretty bad. But
yeah,
I guess it ain't that big a deal because what are they going to? Well, I don't know. It depends. If that means like by putting that hold on there, you're taking the liability of the $500 or the $300. I think when it happened to me one time, it was like $188 that went through, and then like $188 that didn't. But they couldn't stop the first one, so the bank ate the first one.
right.
But it wasn't.
No,
I mean,
I think I'm still good. Like I don't. If it is legitimately fraudulent, I still don't think that I'm responsible for it. So whoever's running the thing for Cabela's would have to eat that cost if I'm like, "Hey, that's not me." But I don't know, whatever. That actually did happen one time. My Cabela's did get compromised. Now I think about it, that's right. That's 'cause one of those things. I went to the gas station, like it didn't work, so I used a different one, and then that worked fine. But I called them up, and they're like, "Hey, did you like buy something from? It was somewhere in like the UK," and I'm like, no." They're like, "Okay, we didn't think so. We went ahead and blocked it." But then the person was like, "Well, could it have been like, anyone in your household or blah blah blah?" I'm like, uh, I live by myself, so no, like anyone who has this number is not allowed to use it." Man, this saw thing looks pretty damn cool. It's a little handheld, like circular saw, or like little, like
I had one of them from a long time ago. The blade's like 3-4 inches, something like that.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Like
It looks tiny.
Oh, maybe it's tinier than the one I'm thinking of. The one I have is like, I think I still have it. It's like the battery pack off of a screwdriver, or some kind of interchangeable battery pack thing for like tools. And then one of the I don't even know what you'd use it for. It's so tiny, or it's so small. It's not really tiny. Like say a 4-inch circular blade, or are you talking smaller than that?
I'm trying to. Yeah, it's probably smaller than 4-inch. Actually, I just saw a thing in the guy's hand. Like those like the cordless screwdrivers, but like that are like all in line, like not like a cordless drill type screwdriver thing, but like just like it looks like about that diameter. Like you can fit your whole hand around, almost like the oh my god, a Dremel. It looks like the size of a Dremel, and then like and then the front is like angles down a little bit, then has the saw. So these blades are like maybe 3-inch. Oh, how nice of them. They knocked it from 4 payments down to 3 payments.
What are they using it for? Like cutting holes in drywall and shit.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that one.
But 3 payments of $50. So
you never knew all the things you weren't cutting because you don't have this saw.
Yeah. Dude just cut a shingle, cutting some tile, pipe. Using it almost like a skill saw now, cutting out some wood. But yeah, for $150 though, I'd rather have just a good circular saw. Like what? I don't understand why all the stuff they're doing with this, I don't get why you can't do with a big one. Like maybe that's a little more handy or whatever, but
finesse. Attention to detail.
Yeah, but you can do all the same stuff with their big thing is that you can set the depth like so that you can use it like a router kind of thing. Like, okay, good. You can do that with big ones too. Because I've used a regular circular saw and cut some channels in it. Just move the guide down. Smeggie, back to earlier. Yeah, let's talk back about guns. Arrow precision machines, PSA lowers. Okay. So it's like an arrow lower. Those are fine. I guess for $60, that's fine. And then that's also back to earlier then. Yeah, Pants had mentioned he's got a few Anderson lowers that you had to run a drill bit through by hand to get the pinhole all, get deburred and whatnot. And yeah, that's what I meant when I said we cleaned up the holes. We just, used a drill bit by hand. You don't want to like just use an actual drill because you could end up messing it up even more. You stumbled on that trying to figure out who makes their 1911s. Okay, well, keep doing your research, Pants, and get back to us when you have the answer.
So I got 2 sacks of nuts here. One is twice as big as the other. Okay, so 1 sack of nuts is one size. My second sack of nuts is twice as big as the first one. So one is 2 times the size of the other. So there's 3 pieces basically. One and then another one that's 2 parts, right? So, or there's like 3 units. 2 of them are one kind, and the other one is these spicy nuts. So I got some regular kind, some spicy nuts. The spicy nuts are the one, and then the other 2 are plain. So I wanted to mix them, right? Make the spicy ones mix in with the good ones or the plain ones, and then let me, whatever. What am I trying to say? Water them down or whatever. So I cut the top off of the giant bag, and there's like tons of extra room. And I cut the top off the spicy bag, and there's tons of extra room. So I know they're all 3 going to fit in the big bag, and they do. Right? So now I'm able to pour them back and forth a little bit to mix them, distribute them. Are you with me?
I'm following.
How many times, because this surprised the shit out of me, how many times do you think it took before I had a completely thoroughly mixed, completely, what's the fucking word? Distributed. That's a better word than that. There's a word for when you mix a solution. But anyway, these things are like completely distributed. Like there's 3 plain nuts and then a spicy nut, 3 plain nuts and a spicy nut. Anyway, how many times do you think it took me pouring it back and forth before that was accomplished? This real life's not just some theoretical quiz off the internet. Just happened. Just happened right now.
Let's say 5 times.
I would think I'm going to take I'll take you through it. I take the spicy nuts, which are in the smaller bag, half full, and I pour them into the big bag, which is still half full. They're both like got a lot of empty room in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
I pour the spicy nut, a little bit of the spicy nuts, maybe a quarter of the spicy nuts into the big one, and then I pour them back in, maybe a little bit more, and then kind of back and forth. So that was the system. You can stick with 5.
It seems like that would take longer. So I'll go to 10.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Be completely, thoroughly mixed. This is gonna blow your mind. It took 3 times. I was like, ugh. Like it was like parking. Like
I'm gonna stick with 5. I was pretty close.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, well, I'm gonna pour a little bit in here. I'll pour a little bit back out, and then I'm like, oh shit, they're mixed. Like, what the hell happened? Like, I was like, holy shit, somehow there was like just enough of the spicy ones left in after I had poured them in, and I was like, huh. And then I just poured it back in there like fast, and then boom, they were just mixed. Yeah, I figured it was gonna take me like a half an hour pouring bags or nuts back and forth and spill them all over the van or something. I'm an expert.
Yeah, because I would think the spicy ones would just like sit on top.
Sit at the top or something. Yeah.
And then when you dumped it,
totally
you pretty much put the spicy ones back in the spicy bag and then put the regular ones on top. And then you dumped them back over. Like,
pretty neat. Try it sometime. Oh, you know what else? I took a picture for you. I'll put it on the Instagram. I'll surprise you with it on the Instagram. You'll know what it is, though. You'll see it happen. You'll be like, oh, that's the picture he's talking about.
But other people will be like, what the heck's this?
Where's the Vanessa kitty?
I don't know, dude. She cheated on me with other Travis and then never jumped over here. So I guess she went to bed.
All right, I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
I'm going all the way over the other side of the van.
Oh, geez. It'll take 20 minutes. Huh. Yeah, it's a little bit of a slow night for us here, but that's okay. I ramble on if there's 5 people watching or 25 people watching. Or 500 people watching. I can just ramble on. I want to do something to my AR, but I don't know what I want to do. Like, I'm just in the mood to swap something out on it. I've already done a lot of, like, cosmetic stuff. Maybe a new charging handle. Because I just have, like, the regular, like, basic one. I kind of want, like, a ambi, but I don't want one of those ones that freaking, like, sticks out for, like, 10 miles out the one side. So, is there something that is still, like, basically the same width or maybe a little bit longer than, like, the standard mil spec one, but ends up working as an ambi? Do you guys know of anything like that? Because all the ambis I've seen, like, on the one side, they have, like, this huge wing that sticks out, and then that, like, pivots and disconnects on the other side as well, or whatever. But is there something that
charging handles? So this is only going to happen in the middle of the night because people can't handle charging handles. They can't handle lowers. They can't handle charging handles. So stupid AR-15, stupid gun, made out of aluminum and plastic, and not all that well designed, honestly. And it's kind of dumb. And it's got that stupid bolt that has to go back into the receiver or extension. And the charging handle is going to pull on the how does it pull on the key? I guess it does. It pulls on the fucking key. So putting torque and, well, what is it? Torque and stress, I guess. I don't know all the scientific words, but you're pulling back on it and you're torquing it in that channel. So you're putting pressure, pulling the charging handle back, and you're torquing it, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, it's being pulled to the side of the lever or against, depending, I guess, on your technique. But for the most part, it's not coming directly back because no one pulls it with both fingers like you're supposed to. You're supposed to pull the stupid claw and pull it with both fingers. Why? Because then we'll go backwards through the channel correctly, right? With force on both sides. That's why there's a fucking thing on both sides. But everybody wants to karate chop that fucker, right? And I guess why not? Because it's fucking about dying and living and dying, right? Potentially. So when you start thinking about the use of a charging handle and its necessity to the operation of that stupid gun, then there's no room for playing around with charging handles. Anybody who is selling you some fucking jive turkey charging handle garbage, looks fancy or kind of looks like Batman or the hell, I don't even understand what people think about. That's crazy. It's not like fucking with the trim around your windshield. That's like freaking with your, I don't know, something integral to the operation of your vehicle, like your brakes or something. Like, it's super critical to the operation of that gun. The only thing I would even consider is one that, like, many people who use their guns hard say is legit. And not because it's like, oh, I usually use this one, but this one seems kind of nice this week, you know, but like, I usually use this one because, you know, it's on all my guns, like that kind of thing. And I don't even know. I just have someone that's steel, and I'm not saying that's the way to go because that isn't. But I definitely know most of the ones that I've seen in classes fail, like, are cheap. Well, not cheap, but not inexpensive, but like gimmicky ones. You know, oh, it has the oversized or the undersized or the back reverse or some goofy shape, and then snap. Because nobody runs their guns. That's the other thing. Everybody wants to get all mad at me. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I take my gun to the range all the time. But nobody runs their guns. And it isn't going out and just being abusive. It's like actually doing it. Manipulating the thing a bunch of times. Under the thing and around the thing, mudding it, raining, hot out, cold, right? And you know, when it's cold out, you're gonna do it differently because you're trying to stay warm or whatever. You're trying to get mud out of your face at the same time. So in those adverse conditions is when they snap, and then you got, you know, non-operational gun. and it's not necessarily something that you can carry around. So if it's a gun that's for using, I would stick with legit. Yeah, it's like Scott says, BCM.
Yeah, I'm looking up BCM now.
What?
That's what I'm looking up, the BCM now, just seeing what it.
The steel one I have, I'm not saying I have it because it's so good. I only have it because I'm super cheap and I didn't have any money and I didn't really, it was given to me basically, so I use it. And then I do like the latch that's a little bit bigger. It's kind of like at an angle, but honestly, unless you're doing it like what they tell you in the freaking Army manual, then you're doing it wrong because of that whole torque thing. So you can definitely karate chop the shit out of most of them. But remember what that thing is, a narrow channel of aluminum, right? Seriously, it's like not even a whole tube. It's just like 3/4 of a tube of aluminum that, is in a C channel shape wrapped around like up underneath of another channel. And then it has your bolt going back and forth through it. So it's got a lot of potential, contact with stuff and doesn't have a lot of dimension to play with. I guess that's what I'm saying. There's not a lot of metal there to play with.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I do
I
the
guess that's
claw thing. I'm not a tactical ninja. I claw it because that's, like you said, I figure that's the easiest way to pull straight back.
Oh no, that's not the best way to use the gun. It's stupid. That's why the gun's dumb, because the way to operate it correctly is not good for a human being. To reach up and have to move your arm all weird and pull back on that thing is difficult, and it takes your eyeballs and it takes more than one hand. It's just dumb. But so I mean, I don't do that. I don't pull it back with both hands. And again, you can't really do it with your left hand very easily when you're holding the gun with your pistol grip. So it's not something that's designed to be done in battle or under fire, under stress, so because you have to let go of your gun to do it. So most people are going to do it with some kind of a karate chop or a pinch or something. And people that are really paying attention will pinch and push, so they're pushing to intentionally kind of in the parallel with the receiver extension so that it's not putting that bind on it. But and I was going to say the levers are a whole nother thing, because then you get into the other physics of fulcrums and axes. So, let's make a little hingy thing that makes it so that you can lift on either side and it works. Or let's make it so that if you push on it, it works. And, it's all this little complicated shit that takes something that's already got too many parts and adds 2 more parts, or adds another shape with like a cam in it. So now you got this thing that comes in and out of the back of your gun into all the debris that your gun is hopefully in if you're saving your life or somebody else's. And you got all that potential of that shit gumming it up. So now your shit won't charge. Let's see who's going to get a black eye or whatever after their shit won't lock or it won't engage. If you don't engage that fucker, it's going to come flying back. Well, it's a malfunction that we're talking about, Pants. Anybody can play with an AR, at the range. It's going to work fine. Nobody puts any stress on it, unless you're just spazzing out or being weird. It's when you're under stress or whatever that you're trying to clear malfunction quickly that you'll torque it. If I said that shit on Mass Chat, they'd all freak out, because I don't know how much people pay for charging handles, but they probably must pay a lot.
Yeah, I'm seeing this. There's a BCM ambidextrous charging handle, and it looks kind of like a regular charging handle. Like I said, I don't want the ones that like stick way out or have, like you said, like weird shit. But this thing's like $80. And I know some of the other ones that are all like, fancy, weird pivot, ambidextrous thing, whatever, are even more expensive than that. So that is probably, I just got my new blah 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 whatever. And yeah, they just paid $100 some for it, and you're telling them, hey, this thing's,
Gimmick.
not worth it. Yeah. Well, I've always taken to heart what you have said in the past when people were talking about like the super extended. Like, have you seen the ones where it's like you got the charging handle, but then in order like the extended, it's just like a rectangle of like wire that like sticks out like an extra inch or whatever, then comes
Oh, well,
back.
see, when you're talking like a scoped AR, now you have to have an extended one, or like the knobs and shit won't
Right.
allow you to use the damn thing. They're hidden underneath of the knobs. And then there's left-handed people, of course. Somehow they are allowed to exist, and of course the stupid things on the other side. So now it's in the way of them. They have to reach up and over the forward assist.
Right. But anyway, the point of that is like, besides being scoped, where you may have that issue, it catches on shit when you're moving around and whatever. It's like got this extra little like wire. That's the it seems so thin. I don't get how. I don't know. I mean, it must not break, otherwise people get all pissed off about it. But it seems like you just took you took a paper clip and then like glued that to the side of your charging handle, and it's just this wire sticking out. Let's see, what is Dead Horse saying? He said something about that karate chop thing. Let's see. They say most gross motor skills go out the window during stress, hence the blade charging handle techniques. Tests have shown that at least the blade technique does not help during stress, and in fact takes longer and is more prone to a failure than the standard two-finger old-fashioned claw. I'd be interested what tests have shown that. I'm not saying they haven't. I'd be interested to see that.
Well, because you can karate chop right past it. It's not the best technique. Most of the guys, there was a thing for a minute, and then they moved past it. Most of the guys have you pinch now. At least last time I heard, they're pinching.
Oh, where you put your thumb along the back of the charging handle and then put your finger on like the part that disengages it?
No, you just bring your finger up and grab the latch, and you're basically, again, pulling it backwards instead of just karate chopping it and pushing tension, torquing it. I think. Honestly, I don't remember now. It's been a long time since I've actually been to an AR class. "58 comments to the Phoenix video."
Cool. Yeah, I saw Scott send a link to the BCM thing. I don't know if that's what he's...
All the hardworking, freedom-loving Americans with full-time jobs would be caught dead screaming like idiots in the streets will quietly overpower your parade with votes on Election Day. I certainly hope so.
See, that was one of the things at the 2A rally where they said something about like, oh yeah, these guys can organize their rallies like super easy, and then it was kind of a throwaway comment, but he goes, I guess that's the advantage of being all unemployed. They can just show up whenever they feel like.
No, that's
kind of giggled.
I don't think that's all that funny though, because it's seriously, that's one of the reasons they're using the kids as their puppets this time, because they can. They're interested. I mean, shit, they're giving them the act. They're telling them it's okay to quit school.
Yep. Oh yeah, the walkout thing during school. I mean, I heard people saying they like the teachers told them to go outside, and the kids were like, "Nah, I'm good here." And they're like, "No, like you have to go outside." Like, so that's partly, for one, that really bugs me because the whole point of like a walkout is like thumbing your nose at the system. You know, I said before, like civil disobedience is still disobedience. Like that's kind of the point. And to say like I'm fighting, like I'm protesting the same way that like the sit-ins or like refusing to move on a bus or something, like no, the system is encouraging you to do this. Like your teachers are sponsoring these walkouts. You're not, you know, fighting anything. And that's I saw a thing that was talking like a principal had you know, sent the thing down to all the students or all the teachers saying like, if your students do this, like don't yell at them or they can't get in trouble or like they won't be suspended. Or it's like, no, I think there should be consequences for stuff like that. Like if you're gonna do a protest like that where you're, you know, like actively breaking the rules or like leaving school or whatever, like that's part of it. And that's why the people who do it are like, okay, these people are serious. They actually are risking something. And if the teacher's like, okay, we're all going to go outside now, then it's just a class activity. I mean, it was a school sponsored event in most places. So how is that protesting anything? Your teacher's encouraging you to do it. And that comes back to the one thing, which again, I know the video is super short. I don't know exactly what happened, but the kid was basically holding up like a pro-right sign, you know, basically saying like, you know, guns don't kill people, people do, or whatever. And some dude yelled at him and pointed somewhere, and he walked back inside. And I don't know if that was the teacher or the principal or whoever that guy was.
No. That story, from what I understand, the story is that the principal told him he can't do that. He has to leave, and then he went to leave school grounds, and then he got in trouble or something. No, I can't remember either. But he got in trouble, and he had to leave school property with the sign or whatever. But I still say, so let's say that the principal said, okay, you have a right to protest, their protest, and then some kind of fight breaks out, then who's to blame there? The guy who's supposed to be in charge of keeping them all fighting with each other? So I can see where, like, you know, hey, these people, you know, did whatever, set up this protest, so set up your own and do it, but, you know, don't be confrontational. Or, I don't know. I guess I could understand that concept of, like, not allowing a potential problem, but, yeah, that's, I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, it's kind of like the march where, you know, they'll keep people on, like, two different sides of the street. Like, I've seen,
Right.
like, you know, like pro-gay and anti-gay, and they're, like, across the street from each other because they don't want, you know, fights to break out or whatever. So I guess I never thought of that. It just kind of really bugged me that the one point of view is school sponsored. Like I said, some teachers were like telling the kids like, oh, you guys like have to go outside. Like I said, this is just part of class today. Like it's a scheduled field trip outside for a half hour or whatever. And then the other side is like, no, you can't say that here. So I don't know.
One of the comments says we better start pushing for more gun rights instead of less, being on the defensive. Yeah, I agree. This is the time you start telling them, no, quit calling them assault rifles. We want them all.
Mm-hmm.
Start calling them machine guns. We want them all.
Yeah, I'm having trouble, you know, like not saying I told you so to all the people that were sleeping on hearing protection and some of the other stuff. Of just you know, like why not, like now is the time. Like this is like the calm before the storm. We had everything going in our favor. We should get this stuff passed. They waited on it. Now we're back on defense. And if you bring up like, hey, I think we should have, you know, silencers come off the NFA, they're gonna be like, what? You want more stuff? Like we're trying to ban all semi-autos, and you're trying to say silencers should be off the NFA. Like, we can't go on offense. We're on defense again. It's like, what the heck? We gotta play defense, sure, but we need to play offense now too. And during the quiet times is when our offense might actually go somewhere, because they don't have anything that just happened a month ago to point to. I mean, I don't know how long they'll be pointing at this for the next few years. So it's like you're never going to be to a point where like they can't bring up something. 5 years from now, you'd say, hey, we want suppressors. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, but what about, Vegas? Like, I mean, they'll just keep talking about stuff that happened. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. It's like the whole compromise thing. Like, we want all your guns. Oh, no, okay, we'll just compromise. Take half of them. Then come back a month later. We want all your guns. No, we'll compromise. Just take half of them. You keep doing
all this stuff now, right?
Huh?
You saw the post about that stupid girl, the glasses, and she's like, "We're gonna ask for an inch, and as soon as they give it to us, we're taking a mile."
Oh, really? She said that out loud? I didn't see that. No.
No, that was like in her speech. Like Military Arms Channel's been reposting it. It's been reposted like 1 billion times. Yeah, she's out there doing her speech or whatever, and she's like, "The bump stocks are our inch, and then we'll take a mile," or something to that effect. And then I guess there's something in Oregon right now where they want to ban basically all semi-autos, and no grandfathering. You have to turn them in. So they're literally like, oh, we don't want them all, except that, yeah, you do have laws proposed right now that do want like semi-autos to be turned in, destroyed.
Right. Which, I mean, let's be realistic here. The semi-auto rifle's been around for a long time. Is that maybe 80% of the rifles out there? Like, I don't know. I guess I don't know how many bolt action or lever actions there are, but like not even like AR type and AK type, like, what they would call assault, like just regular like hunting rifles that happen to be semi-auto. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of those out there.
Oh, it's like Glocks and stuff, from what I understand. Like anything that's semi-auto, anything that takes a magazine, like pretty much all guns except revolvers, lever action. But I mean, it's probably not going to pass. But still, the concept is that they're going to keep saying that, oh, we're not trying to, but they actually do have laws that are out there that say they are.
Yeah, no one's coming for your guns. We just want you to turn in 80% of your guns. And so that's what I was getting to. I was talking to, actually, it was when I was talking to my mom, because she flipped somehow. You remember how I was working on her? She was like getting better and stuff. We had some conversation where she said something about semi-autos, and I'm like, you realize that's like most of the guns that I personally have are semi-auto or whatever. And she's like, well, why not just do all semi-auto? Or that's what I said. I go, there's like the way they work it, like an AR is no different than, whatever, some other like hunting rifle that happens to be semi-auto. And she's like, well, then just take all semi-autos. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I'd be left with 2 guns. Like, I have 2 bolt action guns, one in 17 HMR and one in 30-06. All my other stuff would get taken.
It's like saying, turns out that a majority of the accidents happen with automatic transmissions instead of standard transmissions. So we're going to make automatic transmissions illegal because they're too easy to people to use. Now there'll be some barrier, you'll have to shift gears before you can pick up enough speed to hurt somebody.
Right.
It's just like it's a distinction of no consequence. That's what we've seen.
It certainly cuts down on thefts. Of course, I had a friend who got carjacked, and he had a manual Jeep. And so, the dude kicked him out, was taking his Jeep, and then it was manual. So he made my buddy get back in and just like straight up like sat in the passenger seat with a gun pointed at him, told him where to go, drove him down the middle of this alleyway, took all his stuff and said, okay, like walk that way and don't turn around or I'll shoot you. And luckily he didn't shoot my friend. But it's like that's like he was sitting there going like, dude, they're driving me to the middle of the alleyway to freaking kill me. I mean, I'm toast. All right, see you, pants. Lever action revolvers and pump shotguns. Make America the Wild West again. Which is funny because that's the term they use as like a bad term. They're like, oh, it's going to be like the Wild West in here. We can't have CCW.
Do you
It'll be the
seriously
Wild
think that
West.
the founding fathers knew about revolvers? A gun that could fire 6 times, a lever action, a gun you only have to load on Sunday and shoot it all week. That gun literally slaughtered the buffaloes. The entire population of critters extinct because of the capacity of that gun. There's no end to that. Whatever.
Well, yeah, there's actually, I was watching a clip a couple days ago or whatever, but this guy was literally, do you remember when that, I forget who it was, but they made a muzzle loader that had a built-in suppressor, and they claimed it's, hey, this is a 50-state legal rifle. Then they had to amend it because there are some states that don't allow suppressors at a state level. So this is a, 40-state legal rifle because it's, it's a muzzle loader. It's not a firearm. And anyway, so this dude came on and he was literally arguing against that muzzle loader. And the host played a clip of earlier when they were talking, when they wrote the Second Amendment, it only covered muskets. Like, that's all they imagined. And these people are literally now trying to ban muskets. Like, that's the one thing that you gave us credit. Like, oh, you're allowed to have those. Like, oh, sure, of course you can have muskets. That's all the Second Amendment covers. This is a scary musket. We want to take it away.
Yeah, seriously. It's like
so that just it, and that obviously that was just that one person's talking point or opinion or whatever, but that particular person definitely wants to ban every single gun no matter what. So you're right. If you say, okay, we'll just get rid of the scary looking ARs and AKs, well, how about all semi-autos? Well, just wait till they see that one video of that kid shooting the lever action in 1.5 seconds or whatever, and they'll say, holy crap, you can shoot those things fast. Well, you better get rid of those.
Hey man, well, there's lots of stuff to talk about, but I got to get some Z's.
All right, dude, take it easy. Thanks for jumping in.
Yep, I was hoping to keep going because I got some stuff to do here, but thinking I have to try to figure out how to get up. So I'm gonna set some alarms and then try to get up and get a sunset picture I want to get, or sunrise picture I want to get, and then start the day off here.
Oh, damn. Sunrise is in a few minutes over here.
I got a little bit more time. All right. Thanks for running, Keith. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, take it easy. All right, that was kind of bad timing for him jumping out. I was had to be muted there for a couple minutes, so so anyways, I don't know. Are there still people with me? Anyone else want to come chit chat? Sorry, I haven't been looking over on the gun channel side as much. I was on different tabs, but I don't know if anyone was asking to jump in, but you guys know, just let me know. Send me a message. Let's see, what else is Dead Horse saying? Yeah, no, that's true. The Wild West was not as lawless as movies make it sound. But then again, I mean, if you think about it, so an old like cowboy movie, they want it to be exciting and, fighting outlaws and shootouts with the sheriff and blah blah blah, whatever. The same way that a movie that takes place in modern days, like a James Bond or a whatever, any type of action movie, that's got way more like gunfights with the mafia and this, that, and the other. Like that kind of stuff doesn't happen in real life either. So just think of that the same way. I mean, the Wild West is an accurate document, or a cowboy movie is an accurate documentary of the Wild West, the same way that Jason Bourne is a documentary of, everyday life in the 2000s. And let's see what else we got here. Something about the Chiapa rhino should be banned. Why don't you like the rhino? I actually kind of like it. It's ugly as all hell. Let's see the meme that is how African white rhinos go extinct, but Chiapa's still selling them. Okay. Well, I think, I think it is just a travesty that Chiapa is willing to kill white rhinos in order to make a gun, because the grips are whittled out of a white rhino's horn. That's why they call it that. All right. So what else is going on? This is the part of the night where I ramble to myself for a while, unless you guys want to talk about something. So let me know. What do you want to talk about? I'll respond to some comments here. Do 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 do. Huh. That doesn't sound like a fun video to watch. Learn from others' mistakes. Yeah. Okay. Well, that doesn't seem like something I'd want to check out. I'll just avoid shooting my finger off. Ugh. Freaking hate stupid infomercials. Oh, it's just a story about how it happened? Well, that's at least better, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes even just hearing stories gets me all wigged out. Because the problem is like I'm a very sympathetic person. So when I hear people even telling stories about injuries, I end up like feeling the injury that they're describing. And especially something about like, I even just talk about it now, like stuff getting cut off and think, no, nope, we're not talking about that. Ugh, God damn it. Yeah, not good. Come on, is there anything on TV? I like having TV on just muted in the background, something to watch. So I watch a lot of like nature programs because you can just like, you know, watch wolves running around in the wild without having to have the sound on, and it's just kind of cool to see, or like birds or fish or whatever. That's a cute little puppy. Rescue dog to super dog. Hmm. Oh, they're training like, okay, that's cool. That is a good point. When gun guys shoot themselves, they always blame themselves and not the gun. That is a good point. It's a different mindset, you know? It's just I feel like it's something fundamental, just having that personal responsibility and just the way you even just kind of like think about the world, you know? Apparently there was a Red Wings game the other night that I didn't watch. Was this from Friday? Oh, I'll put that on, see what happens. Oh man. So, what else is going on in the world? A couple people liked my pictures. That's cool. And that's one thing Instagram kind of dies out in the middle of the night. That's frustrating. Doop doop doo doo doo. Well, I don't know what else I can blabber on about, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks to the people joining me and talking to me all night. And I'll catch you guys all later.